All right, all right, all right. Man, oh man. Lies, lies, and more lies. Well, good people, it's been about, I don't know, maybe like 3 weeks since we have been in the counselor's corner, and a lot has been going on. I had to travel to Chicago to bury one of my close cousins who lost his battle with cancer. I invited everyone's favorite princess, Princella Clark, to my platform to join the counselor's corner because she was someone who challenged the different posts and positions in the counselor's corner group. So I reached out to her and she accepted with the response, absolutely, I appreciate the invite. Maybe the next day or so on Facebook put me on restrictions for sharing a message I received on TikTok when an older woman requested me to be my sugar mama. uh, so that was funny. So Facebook claimed there was sexual exploitation on my part. What a damn joke. I told Princella what happened, so she stated she we could do it on her platform. To me, no biggie. I just told her my platform was panel-based discussions, and I am not sure how many of my panel members would join us other than my co-host Herb Lewis, the big bad wolf, who's here tonight, the longest-running panel member. Things changed from that point. She only wanted to speak with me. What I didn't know in her mind was I was coming on to debate with her. Nah, that's not my style. Never been my style, not my style. I like to stir the pot. We put out topics, we talk about it as individuals on our panel. And any member of the panel can get it on that particular episode. It just depends. It could be me, it can be, sometimes we have up to like 10 people on the panel. So it's never like it's no gang mentality. But for whatever reason, that must have intimidated her. And I said I would just chime in with my perspectives. So according to her and her minions, her flunkies, she supposedly roasted me, shut me down based on her style of reading definitions from a dictionary or an article. Hilarious. You debating with me? I'm not one to watch many debates and all that stuff, but I can imagine uh, Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Maybe she's on the level with Donald Trump. Would run to somewhere to get a book or an article and read it verbatim. And remember, I'm not debating with her. I'm not debating with her. What I wanted to do, if you're gonna bring the heat in the Facebook group, the Counselors Corner, and I always ask when somebody wants to bring the heat, I say you should join the panel. And many people will tell you who've been following me for years. I say you should join the panel. So I told her, she could be the special guest. Send me your bio, little write up. She was all for it. So I've been asking her and her crew members to pull up in the counselor's corner tonight because we've been going at it all week long. You know, this was like that Monday was the greatest day in her life. She needed to be validated so bad, like I won. The next day, she went on making videos, and she just kept putting stuff out there. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you tore his ass up," even to the point I don't even understand. Like her whole message is she don't talk to men. She don't want anything to do with men. Men are incapable of love. That's one of the first talking points. But what was interesting is every person she quotes is a man. Whether it's Dale Carnegie, whether it's Stephen Covey, whether it's Napoleon Hill, it's always a man. But the stuff that she says, men are pretty much incapable of anything. Pretty much jackasses. All they do is use people. So, like I said, I've been dying for them to come on it, and I couldn't understand some guys taking her defense, knowing how she feels about men, and these dudes was trying to come at me. One of them, it was a funny situation. I got to tell the story. Cock Diesel dude. So he went on trying to chime in, saying, "Oh yeah, he looks old, whatever." So of course, you pull up his profile picture, dude. I try to stay well groomed, whatever. Yeah, I got great. Okay, but I try to keep my stuff well groomed. His shit looks scruffy. He got freaking scrapes and scars on his elbows and all of that shit. I'm like, what the hell you been doing? Well, we probably know what he been doing on his elbows and knees. But anyways, so I'm like, dude, is that your pops on the profile picture? And we went back and forth. Oh, you just mad? I said, dude, you trying to catch some ass on here. That's what you trying to cap up on some ass. Oh, don't come on Facebook for to get any ass. You just mad. You just mad because she lit your ass up. Really? So then we go on and on. Then he was like, you must. I said, are you slow or something? Oh, I think you ride the slow bus. You ride the short bus and all. I said, match your credentials with mine. Crickets. And then I said, know what you are? A grown ass virgin. Grown ass virgin trying to come up on a woman side who doesn't even like you. So I don't care who likes me. Then I said, so you're a grown virgin. He said, this was his response. And I knew he was weak as hell at this point. What grown man responds like this? He said, no, I'm not. So I'm thinking he was going to come back with, no, I'm not. You are. Or something to that effect. So right then I said, oh, this dude's a waste of time. And once I said, match your credentials with mine, he never said anything. Then all of a sudden he disappeared. But she has those type of dudes. I don't know, there's little dudes with a little sugar in their tank, whatever, and chill eating for her. And she thinks she really won. Well, first of all, she thought she got 2 wins against me and Herb, but Herb only came in there for like 1 minute. He can tell you and explain that when he when his turn to speak. But then she guy named Ali. He just recently joined the Counselor's Corner. Maybe I don't know, maybe Saturday, maybe Saturday or something, because now she like, she did another video. Yeah, everybody in the Counselor's Corners, they're retarded. They all ride the short bus, whatever. I tore all of their asses up. I could tear them all up by one. See, the thing about her, and we're gonna focus on her talking points, but she's so full of shit, man. She's so full of shit, because this is what she said when we first came on her show. She was like, I'm gonna give you the platform. You can run it like your show. So I'm gonna run stuff like my show. You're not gonna tell me what we gonna talk about, because she went on about men not capable of love because of their testosterone level and stuff like that. And I said, so she was reading these definitions verbatim from her little article. And I said, so what does it say about women? Once I said that, she lost total control, and it went all downhill from there. Suddenly, this went from my show to my platform to her dominating the thing and trying to pick apart every little thing, but going to her handy dandy dictionary. And that's how she won. So it was like she was fighting for a title match, but I thought it was an exhibition match. I wouldn't even really fight. I was sparring with you. So I said, well, come to my platform, because we know that, real champions can travel anywhere and win if you that skill. And this is her response. No, because you guys are just going to jump me. Jump you. That's not even what goes on here. Do your homework. So again, they kept saying I wasn't prepared. No, I didn't do no research on it, because I just wanted to have a regular casual conversation. That was it. Just a regular casual conversation. But she wanted to make it into this big debate, because I understand, you could tell she's hurting inside, going through a lot of pain, and hurt people like to hurt people. And her whole thing is she basically dislikes men, totally dislikes them, got a lot of hatred for them. And she got some other hurt women that joined in with her. and you can't tell them anything. You can't tell them anything. They will. They I don't like. She's their royalty, and I'm like, yeah, don't get it, man. Don't get it, because no matter what, the point I brought up about women, because she was like, whoa, well, uh, we're not going to talk about women because Kevin Samuels, Tommy, that's all they ever talked about. What the hell that got to do with me? What the hell do that have to do with me and right now in this time? But that was her bailout because she's struggling and she has penis envy. She has penis
That
envy.
she does. That's for sure. Mhm.
She does. And she's luring them women in, whatever.
What the hell is penis envy?
I'll explain that to you in a moment. So honestly, I'll explain that to you in a moment because he's absolutely correct.
So all right, so we're gonna I'm gonna move on with the rest of this introduction. I just wanted to shed some light that we'll let her take over this, Shauna. She could come in and give her perspective. But so her main three talking points was, and so she lies so much that it's ridiculous. I could go old and old, but she said, "Oh, they create the talking points. I didn't create these talking points. I wanted you to talk to me about these talking points." She
I
said,
was just
"Man,
about to say we send them in.
yeah."
That's how well she does her research. But I'll let Dave finish and I'll come in behind him and explain to you how flawed her research is.
I said, men are, she said, men are incapable of love. That was number one. Two, women don't know their worth because they don't know men. Three, she says she knows men better than they know themselves. So again, this should be an outstanding broadcast. Please like and share the video, and please subscribe to the channel, the Controversial Counselor. So yeah, the lies. And here's another one I caught her in, and she quick to try to jump on you and try to cuss you out. I said, why didn't you ever share the episode to my channel? She was like, you never sent it to me. I mentioned it twice. Tag me in it. Then she went as far as in the thread, motherfucker, you ain't never you such a liar. Why you such a big liar?
What?
Yeah. So I screenshotted and sent to her twice the conversation, like tag my channel in it. No moral compass, no humility to say, damn, my bad, I'm sorry, or anything. So right there, I know you loser status. Loser status. You come out calling me an MF or liar, then I said, who's the liar now with your lying ass? So that's her whole thing. And I don't really try to be harsh on anyone, but every day you wake up driving your little truck, that your ass gonna be wrapped around a pole because you're too busy trying to do
Oh no!
Facebook
Don't say
videos.
that.
I mean, that probably was wrong, but hey, you shouldn't be doing all that while you're driving. Maybe she resting. I don't know what she doing. I don't know what she
Yeah,
doing.
she on her break. She
Okay,
on
well,
her
she be on the
reset.
break. She be on the break a long time then, because she be plenty occupied. What's going on in the counselor's corner? So let me read down no comment. Herb can come in, bro. I remember when I first realized she joined the group, and right away I said she was emotionally damaged and speaking from her emotions. I said that on her post to her, whatever it was. Yeah, just fucked up in the head, and she's trying to lead this revolt with these people and these women, adding on the more fucked up individuals in their head. Then it gets the little cheerleader dudes with their pom poms, whatever. Grow some damn balls, dudes. Like for real. Like
But
go
that's
get
what
a.
I asked
Go
her,
ahead,
and she
Jonathan.
didn't answer. I asked her what was her intended outcome. Like I don't really care what you feel or what you mean or what you taught or whatever. But what is your actual intended outcome from these teachings where you say that men are incapable of love, women shouldn't be with men? So how do we populate the earth? Like what's next? What's next? Is everybody gonna be gay? Are we gonna love women? Like what happens next? I'm confused.
Go
She
ahead, Herb.
reminds me of an individual who doesn't have an end game.
Mm.
That's the same. I'm gonna put her in the same category as I do Colin Kaepernick. They know
Oh,
how to
okay.
start, but they don't know what the middle is, and they don't know how to finish. That's the equivalent of a chess player sitting down, moving a few pieces and thinking they won the game. Game ain't even started. And her penis envy. All you have to do is look at what she calls certifications and what she's done in her life in terms of work. She's worked in two professions from what I understand. One is the military, two is over the road trucking.
Ah,
Two professions that are male
male dominant.
dominated. That's her penis envy. She wished she could do what men does. That's why she was talking about when she was trucking, she was outworking men. You're outworking men driving. Driving. And I'm not, and this is not to discredit what over the road truckers do. I respect what they do because if it wasn't for them, they are the backbone of this country. This economy would come to a standstill. So I'm not negating what truckers do. But that's not the epitome of what a man is. So if you're outworking a man in the military, that's something different. Mind you, they had to lower the standards for women to get into the military. So already then she's off the beaten path, whether she's got to be first lieutenant or second lieutenant. That means nothing in the everyday world. Means you did something in the military, but when you get out of the military, it's what can you actually do. In her mid-30s, she's just now starting to live. So she hasn't done anything that another woman hasn't done. I know female truck drivers. I know female boilermakers. I know female plumbers. She's not the first, won't be the right. She's not the first, won't be the last. Now, this is when I called her out on the half-ass shit she does. She mentioned the definition of love, but she only covered the noun version. Any man that I know that's worth his salt, he's not going to get along in this world too far by just talking. Men are doers. By nature, we're doers. So if a woman encounters a man who just talks and talks and talks, eventually she's going to leave him because he ain't did anything. His accomplishments don't show. Women don't want a man that talks. That's why the women, when they get to a certain age and they've been burned enough, i.e. her, they say, the proof is in the pudding. In other words, show me. Don't tell me. That's what she likes to do. This is why she doesn't understand men. Because men do. Men put out. Men show. This is why Kevin Samuels used to say, show your work. This is how you know she doesn't watch, never did watch Kevin Samuels. She watched the clip. For 2.5 years, Kevin Samuels told men, focus on yourself. Get your money right so you can pay the cost to be the boss. He said, if you ain't working 60 hours a week, then I don't want to hear about you broke. Kevin Samuels told men to leave with their wallet. We have a gentleman who has appeared on our panel several times who's a certified doctor who will tell you about Kevin Samuels and what he preached. She's mad that he got the traction when he told a female, what every man on this planet would pretty much agree with, that she's an average female. This is the other thing that women get misconstrued when they talk about men and what men want. They think men want access to women's money. Only broke men do. Men that go out and work, earn, don't give a damn about a woman's money. Do they want her to be educated? Yes. Do they want her to be smart? Yes. Why? Because she's going to be responsible for raising his children. You don't want an ignorant, uneducated, obtuse woman raising your children, which is a lot of what we see today with a lot, not all, but a lot of single parent homes, particularly women. That may rub some of you the wrong way. And if it rubs you the wrong way, look in the mirror. I ain't pulling no punches tonight. I sat through about an hour and a half of that bullshit last week, and it was enough to steam my ass. Because I can't stand people who tell half truths, use science to try and back some bullshit notion about what they think they know about men. And I don't know what the past is. Don't give a fuck about what the past is. All I know is when people come to this panel, they get a fair shot to make their point. Her point came from half of definition of a word, a Time magazine to which we don't know the contents of, and the book she wrote. Now, I know that when people write books, if they're not an autobiography, they're usually from that person's perspective, unless they're using something else to base that book upon. We don't know what the contents of the book was. She never read an excerpt. She never talked about it other than she wrote it. So as far as I'm concerned, that shit is more junk science. And we all know, those who are scientifically inclined, that you can't use that shit to substantiate a point. This is what she tried to do. And this she tried to railroad and steamroll Dave with the bullshit that she was talking about. So when I came on there and I pulled her card about it, I wasn't on the let's put it like this. I have orgasms that last longer than I was on the show. This is how I know that when confronted with the truth and the reality of what she thinks she knows, she runs.
Right, absolutely. She kept muting, and she was like, as soon as somebody tried to make a point, it was like, wait, why are you doing that?
Yeah, and it was supposed to be my show, my platform. I run it how I want to run it. But when you've been through and you got a lot of battle scars, control is very important. So to release that control to a man on her platform, she just couldn't do it. So then, it was another guy that came on Saturday. The way her and her little flunkies try to turn stuff around in the chat. This man sat there and was quiet for long periods of time as she read verbatim definitions. Then, soon as he goes to say something, no, brother, no, sir, and she just kills everything. And then she'll put the video the next day talking about she won, she tore that ass up. She's a narcissist, for real, to the T. And it's very sad.
I think it was really weird that she didn't leave space or room or opportunity for a rebuttal or an explanation or questions. Like, she doesn't really answer any questions, because I wasn't even combative with her. I just was like, well, what's the end game here? Like, what's the goal? And she couldn't answer that. She doesn't want men to know.
And I'm glad that you asked that, because my brother Carlos had asked her. Really couldn't give him no. I don't care. I don't explain nothing to men. Well, why are you using men to quote everything that you say? Why are you using men? I didn't hear you quote anyone at all. She's probably lurking now, knowing her, or she might be sleeping. But early in the morning, she'll have this on playing, and her little flunkies will be coming back in the chat, and her little pom-pom boys be chilling too. But I told them they could bring their ass on here too. Any of them could get it.
There's room. Yeah, there's room.
But there's nobody.
Yeah, because one of her boys gonna say, so tell me right now, today, Dave, what's the definition of love? Get the fuck out of here, dude. You think I'm about to type this out for you? Like, are you kidding me? I said, come on the show. I said, come on the show tonight, and I'll tell you.
The funny thing about that is there is going to be no agreed definition of what love is.
Exactly.
Love can be many things to many different people. So for somebody to ask what love means, you have to put it in context. And nobody ever puts it in context. So somebody will ask, do you love this individual? I can say, yeah. Well, why do you treat him like that? Because I love him enough to stay the fuck away from him because I don't want to kill him. Is that love? Some people will say, that's not love, that's hate. Well, why is it hate? Because you want to kill him? Nah. I love them enough to know that I can't be near them because we don't mix. So I love them enough to let them live.
They also say it's a thin line.
The ultimate sacrifice for Christians, the ultimate sacrifice that Jesus did was when he did what? He died. That was his version of love. So I always challenge people, when you say love, give me something to base it upon. Don't just throw out there a blanket word and think you're gonna be able to have a catch-all definition for something that's an emotional thing. There's no way in the world that you can quantify love until you actually use it in a sentence to demonstrate you know what the meaning of it is.
Well, in her meaning, she would say it's an intense feeling of deep affection. But then in one breath, she said it's not a feeling. It's not this. But with typical cognition, there's thoughts, there's feelings, and there's actions. So if you think something, you're going to start feeling a certain way about it. Then you're going to start behaving a certain way. So I couldn't really understand, but one of her main things was saying men are incapable of love because of the testosterone levels and stuff like that, that men are not capable and they don't have any empathy. Well, empathy isn't something that you get from hormones or DNA. Empathy is kind of sort of like you could be taught empathy, or it's dealing with your environment. And I said that on her show, but the thing about her, she'll never say, yeah, you're right, you got a good point. Everything is totally wrong. Everything is totally wrong. Everything is totally wrong with anything a man says, except the men that she quote from. So get your ass together for real. If you gonna use your little gimmick and you're gonna speak like this about men, then don't use any man quotes or anything. Because in one breath you want to be like this person, you damn sure want to be like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. I could tell that just the way you try to enunciate words and stuff like that. I said, this chick trying to sound like Farrakhan.
And it
Yes,
was
I
kind
was
of
wondering what the voice play was for. The voice
it stands
play,
a reason
the
given.
eyes, all of
She
it. It was just, she's a character, and I think I don't even think that she truly believes in what she says. I think she's trying to start this movement, and just like you said, Herb, there is no end game. She just wants the traction. Once she gets the
Mhm.
traction, she'll go from there.
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's exactly
It'll
that's
be.
why
I
we
did
turn.
further. I did further research, and in my further research, it's not that men aren't incapable of love. It's once they get to this age, like it's just because it just doesn't make sense. Because I mean, if men are incapable of love, and you said you've been teaching this, how long she said she's been teaching this?
I'm not even sure how long. I'm not
Yeah,
even
I can't
sure.
Her,
recall.
oh, okay.
Well,
Because my
she's been
thing is,
doing it
she
like
had a
on TikTok. She grew her audience on TikTok. So that shows you how long that
because
was. I don't
my
know.
thing, she has a child. She has a child, and I'm just trying to understand, if this is your feelings, how did you become to have a child? If men shouldn't be, or women shouldn't be with men, which is one of the things that she says, do you not believe in procreation, or how do you think that's supposed to happen? Like
Oh,
it doesn't make
that's
sense.
only a part of the walking contradiction she is. I peeped that too.
Yeah. It was it was a lot. And like I said, when you talk about empathy and all this stuff, there's no correlation. Like I said, that's environmental. People can be taught to be more empathetic. And like I said, your
Yep.
upbringing. If you're somebody who raised in predominantly a female family like myself, you're going to get a lot of that nurturing side or compassionate side with you. And don't get me wrong, you'll still have some of your father's side or whatever the case is, but you'll get a lot of that. And even in relationships, you'll learn to like, okay, I have to be able to listen to her. I have to learn to respond better or whatever the case, be more attentive and stuff like that. That is the stuff that everybody is just born with, and you have a certain level, and that's it. It can elevate, you can improve, or
It can
shit, you can
diminish.
lose it.
It can go
Yeah,
right.
based on circumstances. It's like a day-to-day thing with some. So for her to say men are incapable of that, you got to go further. The study that you did, they probably pooled about 70 people, and you're using that information. They have recently done more studies, and they said it's no direct correlation between that. So, man, she is
I
a
literally
character.
think it's single heart woman. That's just
Mm.
it. single hurt woman.
We definitely know she's single. Giving her stance on men and their usefulness to her. And the funny thing about it was, like David was saying, she was equating testosterone to the fact, or she was trying to use it, I should say, because she did a bad job of equating it. She was trying to equate that because of the amount of testosterone that men secrete, it makes them incapable of showing love. Now, testosterone is the principal hormone for men, along with a myriad of other things that men secrete. In the womb, in utero, men start out as women. And it isn't until I think like the end of the first, maybe beginning of the second trimester, that a surge of testosterone kicks in. That's what starts to differentiate men from women. Men, the ovaries descend, they become testicles, and that same process replicates itself around the time that boys start to hit puberty between the ages of 10 and 12. So there's two periods in men's development and lifetime that they're infused with testosterone. Now, the funny thing about that is this: they test Olympic athletes for the retention of testosterone. Some women actually have more than the permitted amount that disqualifies them from being a female. Does that actually mean that those women are women, or does it mean that they're female? It's similar to the question that was asked to the just recently confirmed Supreme Court justice when she was asked what a woman was. She couldn't offer an opinion one way biologically or scientifically, if I can use that word, because biology is an offshoot of science. But she couldn't offer an opinion one way or the other. The same thing with the princess. So the thing becomes, how do you actually say that men are incapable of love if you don't have a baseline understanding of what love is?
Yeah. And the sadder thing is that these people actually freaking buying into that shit. Oh, they was defending her like no other. And some of them, I wanted to say, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Because you go on and you look at their profile pictures, you look in the background, you're like, really? I could go there. I could take it there, but you know, I was just leading them on. And even to the point today, because I was quiet the last couple of days, I said, I'm done talking to them clowns. So she said, she did another video. She said she was trolling, and she went on, and it came up in my memories. It was like in 2018, you know, when you go to the wax museums, everybody posed with the little wax people. It was Beyonce, and I was hugging on the wax model from Beyonce, like, you know, no one can hold you like this, not even Jay. Joking around. That was my caption. She's like, this is what men are going to become when ladies walk away from them. First of all, Prinzilla, whatever your name is, I don't have that issue. Don't have it. It's not an issue. That was just being silly, having fun. That's what people do when you're having fun. But poor thing, ride your little truck and talk to your little minions, and that could supersede everything. But I don't have those concerns. We are able to let our hair down and have fun sometimes. What's going on, Tali? Thanks for joining us. Brother Donald. What's going on, Doug? Man, so that incapable of love stuff, that just it's really sad that she's trying to use that, because what about the fathers and all that? So you have these women like, damn, what do y'all think about your fathers?
Remember, she said, didn't she say that her father didn't love her, he cared about her?
I don't know. She could have said that. I probably tuned her out at that point.
At one point, I remember her saying that. I don't know if it was another video or something, but she definitely said that her father didn't love her. He cared about her a lot. And I said, well, there goes the issue right there. That's your answer right there, why she feels the way she does, because at the core of her growing up, she grew up with a man that she felt didn't or wasn't able to love her, only cared about her.
And you know what,
That's
to
her
follow
whole
that
life.
up, a lot of women, they grow up with the misunderstanding of what it is that a man does when he demonstrates love. It reminds me of the movie Fences, when the son came back and they got into the confrontation, and they go through the whole spiel about Denzel going out to work, going out to make sure that he has a place to lay his head, clothes to put on, and food to put in his mouth.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Men don't do those things out of love. Just like he said to do those things, he do those things because he's responsible for him. That's the epitome of what a lot of women don't understand about men. Men are driven by responsibility. And because a man demonstrates his responsibility to the people that is under his tutelage and his care, that for that man is love. He loves them enough to sacrifice, so he goes out and he does these
Hmm.
things,
Action.
regardless if they put him at risk. There's a statue, and I can't remember what the name of the statue is, so forgive me for that. It's a statue of a man holding his hand, holding his son's hand, and the man has holes throughout him. But if you look at the sun is comprised of those holes. That is the antithesis of love for a man, is he's willing to sacrifice so others don't have to.
Right.
But women that, and I'm not gonna say warp because warp's not the right word. Women with a immature understanding and development of what a man is at his essence don't understand that. And that seems to be what she's operating on, is that, guys, that because men don't do what women do in terms of love, they're incapable of love from the female perspective, which would be correct. But if we were going to use that template to define how the other views the other's performance, then nobody would be capable of anything according to the other gender. Women wouldn't be
Emotional
capable of going
intelligence.
out and doing the kind of work that men do because they're not physically capable of it.
Well,
You're
she's
not going to
one of
see women work 60 hours a week for 40 hours of, I'm sorry, 60 hours a week for 40 years of their life and not complain about it. That's not what women do. Men are built to do that, which is why most of that kind of labor falls at the feet of men. This is the way biology has put it. So when you go back to times in human history where there was hunter-gatherer communities, yes, women will go out and secure some food, but when it came to things that were putting them at harm's way, when they had to go out and take down big game, they weren't expected to do it. We know lions do it. They are one of the few who actually go out in their I don't know how you term it, in their life cycle and hunt, come back, bring the food back, and the man eats first. That's rare in the animal kingdom.
Well, and I think that's what she's going on because I think on Saturday she was like, actually, women are the protectors. They're the protectors. Was trying to dispute Ali's. I don't even remember what he had came with it. It was so much said, but it was a lot of going back and forth. He could never really get his point across without her interrupting. But that's one of the things I remember her saying, like, women are actually the protectors.
I'm not sure what it. This is the thing about how she puts that stuff out there. If she wants to do away with the male essence and its physical, then guess who's right behind? No men, no humanity. So no women. So if that's the path that she wants to go down, then follow that path to your own demise and to the demise of women. Because without men, you can't complete. This is, and Kevin Samuels used to say this all the time. He would say, "We don't need women to survive, not procreate, not carry on, but to survive. But women need men." And he will always reference the experiment that Bear Grylls did with the two islands when they took women, they put them on one island, and they took men and they put them on another island. They gave them two canisters to purify water, and they had to walk a few women off because they were arguing over who had to do what first. The men had already set up shelter, had gathered food, and had purified water enough to drink. They had already started to make a base camp. The women still over there arguing. This is not to say that women can't do those things. That's just to say they don't
It's
do
just
them
a
as
difference in
well.
emotional intelligence, though.
Well, like I said, I know women can do it because women in the military do it. But if you were to go grab 10 random women off the street and have them hunt for food, build a campfire, and construct them some type of dwelling so they were out of the elements, they would be in a whole world of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what she doesn't get, is if you take a man away, that's fine. You want to put men over there and say, we only gonna go over there if we want sex. And they can't do that well.
And speaking of that, that was another thing. She was like, as far as men's sexual level, that in that example she used, you can be at Subway and meat could be hanging out from the sub. Men are so horny and all that. Actually, research doesn't say that. Again, that's environmental. It depends on
I don't know
upbringing,
whose penis is
religion,
getting hard on.
and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah, like the stuff that she came up with, and I'm like, you're a sick soul. You're
Subway
sick.
sandwich.
Yeah, you're sick. So
She
like,
was channeling her inner Sigmund Freud. And I was like, yeah, she's gone. She's gone.
that's the
That
type
too.
of
And they were
stuff
looking
that
at me
she
like,
threw
it's
out there.
like one of those. She's one like similar to one of those jaded pastors who try to I guess reinterpret the Bible is the best thing I can say from it. She'll read a passage, take a passage, and reinterpret it to make it mean what she wants it to mean.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Yeah.
has all these single broken women like, yeah, there it goes. That's the reason why.
Well, she says she's a messenger. She was sent here. She's a messenger, and that's where I think she thinks she did some studying of the Nation of Islam, and she kind of tried to put all this stuff together. And she said, "This is gonna be my game. This is what I'm gonna try to come up on." Because she still wants to be a female version of Kevin Samuels, not understanding that his thing was for everybody to get right, and we come together to change our communities, because that's a big
Right.
issue. That's
She's
something we
causing a
always talk about
divide.
on here. Yeah, we always talk
Mhm.
about that. We can't do anything until we talk about our households, and then it leaks into the community. So it ain't about no division. It's about
Right.
us tackling these dysfunctional situations. Let's talk about it. But she has her own game and her little strapless or little dildo wearing females. Man, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, boy, she's a work of art. But excuse me, like I said, she's not even fit to wipe my behind after I defecate, and I mean that in all sincerity.
Oh shit.
She's driving a clown car with a bunch of them in the car with her, and they think they're going places.
And
No
it's gonna be
gas.
interesting. She's gonna come out and she's gonna dissect that. She's and I'm not discrediting her like she don't have no intelligence. She'll put together to try to carry
No,
on and devise her plan to make it
I
work.
think
So
she
she'll
is
dissect
very
this. She'll
educated.
dissect this. She'll dissect this down
Yeah.
and come up with
Absolutely.
this and be like,
I'm gonna
well,
be a
ladies,
pick me.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna be a pick me. I'm gonna want to be chosen. She's gonna have a lot to say. Just bottom line, and even when she said, men's rebuttal is who hurt you. But fact of the matter, that is exactly how she sounds. She sounds like a hurt and broken woman. And is it her fault? No, no. Every time, all the time, things that happen to us is not our fault. We may go in as loving human beings and we get the short end of the stick. But it's up to you to try to fix that and heal on your own, not to try to lead this revolt of women that hate men.
And that's something that Tommy Sotomayor never worked on. She mentioned him in Kevin's Chambers. Now, the funny thing about Tommy Sotomayor, pardon me, is that if you follow Tommy, he clearly states why he has the views of black women that he does. He said his mothers and his aunts, her sisters, would sit around and berate black men in front of him, dog them
Right.
out, and speak about them as if they were nothing. So when people don't understand what drives an individual to character assassinate a particular demographic, that in and of itself is a problem. Because in order to address something, you have to understand the root cause of what it is. And I personally don't care if she doesn't want to talk to men, but whatever is driving her issue, she needs to get to the root of it. She can have that perspective that she doesn't need to talk to men, that she doesn't won't want to address any challenge of men. We weren't there to challenge her.
Yeah. And
We
that's
were
the
there
thing.
for clarification.
And that's the thing. I don't give a damn. You can speak all that you want. That has no bearing on my life or women. It's not like I'm worried about, oh, she's going to take away these women, whatever. I'm not concerned about that. Not concerned at all. Maybe your little pom-pom cheerleaders are those guys. It's not a concern. So trust and believe. So that's why it was never a debate on my part. I just want to have a conversation. You talk good in the counselor's corner. Why don't you come and be the special guest? But we're going to jump you. We're going to jump you. Just like how your little people attack people in the throat, they will be going in. And then this is what they do. Once you go in and it seems like you're going heavy for the other person, they block you. So my brother said he got blocked in the comment section on Saturday night, whatever. That's what they do. Her block game is real strong. Real strong.
Yeah. She not built for it. She want to jump up to the heavyweight category, still ain't mastered the middleweight. Stay down the flyweight.
Because she's looking
Stay
for
down the
those
bantamweight.
hurt. She's looking for those hurt people, those hurt individuals, and if you are not ready to follow that narrative, you can't come to the party. That's all that is.
Her ass can't stay out the counsel's corner though. Well, the only reason I came in there because two guys that's a part of it. That's the only reason. Like I told her today, you can get your ass out of here anytime. You ain't got to come back. You ain't got to come back. Like a lot of them, like, oh, the counselor corner is this and that. Listen, it's all about perspectives. Different people with different perspectives. That's what it's all about. And you'll see certain people focus on this and you'll say, damn, that's their whole thought process.
Right.
Every post they make is about this or that. And you'll see people that's well-rounded and post different stuff. I just sit back and laugh like, wow. I mean, I'm not here to like, oh, don't say that or whatever. Be careful, whatever. Like I tell people, if y'all feel like it's too bad, then y'all report it. I'm not about to be refereeing that stuff.
Right. It's just everybody, just like you said, everybody has different experiences and different backgrounds, and those experiences, backgrounds, and upbringings unfortunately shape who you are as an adult. And until you're willing and ready to gain that emotional intelligence and recognize your feelings and how your feelings portray in the world, and get and seek some therapy, then I just wish we had a real therapist on here to see her carry on and tell us what's really wrong with her.
Wow. Woo, I pay good money for that.
I would too.
Oh my God.
I'm sure I could come across a psychiatrist or whatever in my travel.
Oh my God, man! Well, I know one now. Whether that individual would be willing to take the time out is a different story. But I do know one that's in the that is in the mental health field, and I could run that by this individual. But like I said, I don't know if this individual will take the time to actually engage. Like he'd ask me.
And the unfortunate thing about it is, I do believe she's really a smart and educated individual. She is just using it to manipulate.
Well, yeah. I mean, I believe it was Barnum and Bailey said a fool and the money are soon pardoned, or a sucker's born every day, one of them. And if this is her gimmick, her game, or however she feeds her people, or whatever the case is, more power to her. I'm not against anyone getting paid. I'm not against anybody, whether I believe them to be a charlatan or not, getting over on the ignorance of people, because at a certain point, it's up to an adult to avail themselves of the education that stops somewhere. We all have that ability. Most of the developed world is connected via smartphone. If you have the ability to read, if you have the ability to consult people who know just a little bit more than you, if you have the willingness to sit there and discuss things with people, you can learn. So I don't buy into the notion of people following somebody blindly. You follow some people because you think they can lead you to something greater. Yeah, you follow people because they're going somewhere where you want to go. There's a reason why kids idolize entertainers. They idolize musicians, sports figures, political figures, because they want to be what they are one day. There's nothing wrong with that. But just understand that you're going to have to put in some type of work to get to where they are. Nowadays, we got people that want to take the shortcut. Ain't no shortcuts to success.
And the funny thing is, she was like, well, I'll come on your platform if you pay me $1,000. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I said, you never got paid. You never got paid to speak anywhere. And then she went on to proceed to show me a screenshot of the Cash App with her money, about like $8,800 some dollars in her Cash App. I said, that was a thing. I seen those same figures on Google. That was the example of a Cash App.
And that lets you know how smart she is by keeping that money in her Cash App. Yeah.
So then
that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Then I said, well, simply show me a picture of you at a speaking engagement. Screenshot a picture where you speaking, whatever. Crickets, nothing. Because I wanted her to say something, and I would have been like, okay, I could pull up multiple pictures of me at different things, whatever, talking about my brand, whatever. Like, just stop. Or know who you battling with. Know your personnel, KYP. Because I didn't care to know your personnel like that to do research. Because I just wanted to have a conversation.
Know your personnel, KYP.
Sorry, guys.
Because I didn't care.
I'm trying to stop it. I can't. Okay, there we go.
I just wanted to have a conversation about your points you were making. Simple. It wasn't no battle, but you're marking it off, saying you're 3-0. Then she just posted somebody, this will be my 4th victim. So she just castrated that. And I can't believe she threw you in there, Herb. And you ain't even have but a minute. She put you on.
All I did was call on the bullshit. That's because she thought she was gonna run me. She thought about, well, no, you ain't coming to my platform trying to do this and do that. All I did was ask you a question.
Well, it's supposed to be my platform, so she was supposed to be submissive on that day. Show ass.
Like I said, I just simply laid down the law. You're not gonna browbeat me, and because she couldn't, she didn't. She said, well, okay, if you're not going to go along with my plan, then I'm going to boot you off, which is what she did. Like I said, I had orgasms that lasted longer than I was on the show. And all I did was challenge her to read the complete definition, because Donald said it earlier. He said, love is a verb. She only read the noun version. And that's what I was talking about with men are doers. This is something I heard originally on Manosphere Highlights Daily. He said, women are human beings. Men are human doings. From an early age, most men are taught that you are going to have to go out into the world and earn what it is that people value you for. Men are not valued for existing. Women are. Women are born with inherent value, the value to give birth. But for men to gain access to that, men have to go out and show the woman that he is worthy to access that. It's rare that a man can talk his way into sex with a woman who's comparable to him mentally. Mentally, okay? I want y'all to understand that. Two people of equal intelligence aren't running game on either one of them. So if you don't have something that that woman desires, she's going to pass you by. Which is why the dichotomy of older men marrying younger women exists. It's for survival. Dr. T.S. Johnson talked about this all the time. He asked women, what do you want in a man? And they have a laundry list of items. He asked that same question of the males, and he hears nothing. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just where we are in our modern society. Women still cleave to the notion that men must provide for them, even though most women are capable of providing for themselves. Think about the new law that's coming down the pipe now, the heartbeat bill. As soon as a heartbeat is discovered and a woman is pregnant, they're trying to go after the father for child support. Why? Could it be that the government is going to start cutting back on ways and means to support single mothers? So if that's going to be the case, then what Priscilla is talking about isn't going to hold any weight, because we know these women ain't going without sex. So what happened if those women who don't go without sex happen to conceive and they're in a state where abortion is outlawed and they can't get to a state where abortion is legal? They're going to need somebody to pay the way.
By the looks of some of their backgrounds, they need somebody to pay that shit now and buy them blankets and all that type of shit too, little basic shit. But that's for another story. It's so much to it, and I know the way it's coming off. In her sick mind, we're hating on her or whatever the case is. Well, they never went that route. If you would have just been honest with your minions, that he didn't come to debate me. He didn't come to debate me. I actually propped her up. I said, "Could you come? Could you come on our panel? You could be the special guest. I like your energy. I see that you're doing well in your YouTube channel, and we can honor you as a special guest." That was that. She turned around in her sick mind and twisted it like, "Oh, when you come for me, this what you get. Sit your ass down. I tax that ass. I bend over that ass, and I do it." And when she said that, I was like, definitely penis. If she wish she had a dick, she wants a dick real bad. That's another part of penis envy, that when women are upset that they don't have the tools that men have, because they look at that as power and control. So and they feel men get more sexual pleasure by having a penis than women have in a vagina. And that's probably to each his own, but that's something Sigmund Freud had came up with his psychoanalysis. But you can't tell me she's penis envy. She wants to. She wish she had that big boy, that tool, and she's trying to remove all women from getting that. but they'll listen and all that shit. But I bet you Melvin at their house right now, right at their house and shit. Like, look at Priscilla. Look what she got to say.
Y'all know
Whatever.
she do readings.
Huh? Do she?
She does readings. She does. I'm sorry, an astrological clarity.
Oh
Queen evaluation. The 5 components of love, personal coaching. For
And I think that's part of what her book was about.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta work it.
And you know what? I'm willing to purchase the book to find out what the book's about.
And this is what Donald said. It said it's not hate because you can see she's intelligent. She's hurt, damaged, and I don't dig on her cussing like that in front of the kids. Yeah. And clearly, it's just like you need to take some time to work on yourself before you come out trying to be such this dominant personality. That's why I'm low key as the controversial counselor. I don't try to start no trouble. I just put stuff out there and I'm low key in the back and let people have at it. Let's get some of this stuff out. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. That's how I've been doing it for like 8 years, whatever. But like he came on for a challenge. Now I can't speak to Ali and the other guy who maybe they were looking for a debate. Maybe they're looking for a debate. But you could take this L off your thing because that ain't what I want. Huh? You said she's entertaining?
It is entertainment.
But you know, this is the thing about that. I listen to a show called Intelligence Squared. I think it's by far one of the most, if not the best debate show I have ever encountered in my 50 years of living. They get people, they have a moderator, they select equal number of people to debate for and to debate against it. They have the audience select where they stand before the presentation is given and after the presentation is given. And you would be amazed at how much information is put forth by these experts, and they're all experts in their own right on particular topics. You would be amazed at how much the opinions of everyday folks shifts when presented with certain information. There's nothing wrong with having shows that entertain as well as inform. The problem with that is this. The informed part is often with people who have unsubstantiated opinions. And everybody will say, every opinion is equal. That is the biggest fallacy in the world. Because if I take a doctor and I take one person to that doctor and that doctor does a full workup on them and brings up the results and that doctor gives his opinion, and I take that same individual and I take him to another person and that other person just does a spiritual reading, both are doctors in their own right, who are you going to believe? Whose opinion are you actually more likely to follow when they give you medical advice on how to heal or how to improve your physical health? Same thing with a mechanic. If you take your car to a mechanic and a mechanic tells you that this is wrong, and then you take that car to another person who calls themselves a mechanic, never worked on a car, and they say, oh, I hear this, I can tell you that it's this. Whose opinion you going to take? This is a lot of what we encounter on social media. And like I said, it's not wrong. Everybody has an opinion. But just be careful of whose opinion that you value.
Right.
Because if you're valuing the opinion of someone who's just a talking head, and David and I always say this about this platform, we are not subject matter experts. We only have our opinions and our perspectives. So anything that we say or tell you, please go out, research, do your homework, and verify for you whether it works or not.
and that's her thing, trying to be an expert. And I always like to make reference to sports. And one of the most successful sports things is um, the TNT inside the NBA with Charles Barkley, Ernie Johnson, Shaq, and Kenny Smith. And one of the things they said, Ernie said, we didn't want to be that show to talk about stats and all that stuff. We wanted to talk about everyday thing. That's why they silly as hell, do different stuff, but yet and still, when it's serious issues, they're able to address it. Like when the Freddie Gray situation, Charles Barkley came to Baltimore to talk to people and stuff like that. So even when they're supposed to be talking about basketball, they have segments where they're talking about stuff that's going on in the world that's impacting, but they're not talking about stats. But so for her thing to think about everything is about research based, the brain, I just wanted to have a freaking conversation, a conversation based on experience and stuff like that. And what you think about that, what made you come up with that? Because I really think, because, and even though she said, oh, he said he was a counselor for these years, let me tell you something. It ain't always been in school. It's been on psychiatric, adolescent, and adult units, drug and alcohol rehabs, detention homes, and different things. Run the gamut. One of my professors said, you'll be hard pressed to find somebody that's done all of those different jobs that you have done. And one of the things is the experience of just listening and dealing with different populations, but she don't get it. She doesn't get it.
What she says,
Go ahead, Shaughnessy.
what she says on a blog dated back in May, it says, when the male acts alone, it acts without restraint, reason, or order and results in chaos. The feminine is currently in a state of emergency because it's under the suppression of the masculine. The masculine has placed itself first, thus creating chaos. The oracles were always women. Women have a level of intuition men do not have, and it's being suppressed through the domination of patriarchal philosophy. The divine order is the feminine, is to give vision and careful thought to the masculine, and the masculine carries that out through the will. The feminine has been brainwashed into accepting a submissive position, and submission is not her divine place. It is the male's divine place. She has been indoctrinated by male-dominated religion, and now is the time for an awakening in this beautiful age of Aquarius.
And it seemed like she's took in somebody else's words and just came up with that shit, but never lived it. Whatever, never lived it. To be wholeheartedly about something, you have to have lived some of it or a portion of it to speak to it. And people, just do your research on stuff, whatever. And I know some women, you are tired of frustrated with men, and I know some men like, oh, I'm same thing with women and all that stuff, but
yeah,
it's all about
shit. I get it.
It's all about balance. and the one thing my grandmother always said, no matter what, at the end of the day, you choose people who do right by you. Just do right by you. And that's the end. So if that's the meaning of love, then that's the meaning of love. Somebody just do right by you. Just do right. And I don't care what Webster or whoever said. And let me go get my Webster dictionary and see what it said. Let me read it. Fuck out of here with that shit. Like.
And the funny thing about definitions is, especially English. English is such a bastardized language that in order to understand the meaning of most English words, you need to go back to the etymology of the word. Now, I personally have never looked up the etymology of love, and I don't know if it's Latin or where it stems from, but I'm sure it has very little to do with what we associated with today. Just the same way that gay doesn't. Gay was upon a time meant happy, merry men. We don't use gay in that sense now, and if you do, most people look at you like, that's not what I'm talking about. Well, why not? This is why they always talk about Old English, the Crown's English, and American English. A lot of people, they won't bother to look at. The only people who actually do this are the kids who are in the spelling bee.
Right.
They look at those words because they have a certain stem that gives that begins and spells a certain way. This is why a lot of them are capable of spelling the words that we don't have a clue about because they study the etymology of words. This is why they always ask it for a place of origin and things of that nature. But
right. The etymology meaning of love is care, and it stems from from German and Old English. LeFou.
There you go.
But then she said her father didn't love her. He cared about her, right? And y'all know where this is from. It's from Webster.
Like I said. but that's why I pulled her card on her using half the definition.
Right.
Because when she first came in to the counselor's corner, that's the nonsense that she tried to pull. And immediately I'm reading what she posted. I'm like, you can't use this source as a viable way to determine something. It doesn't hold muster. It don't pass the smell test. And I'm thinking, who did you pass this by and they didn't pull your coattail on it? They didn't say, hey, yo, you can say this in public, but don't go private with it. Somebody gonna stretch you.
Like, it's just sad that women are sitting here. Just sitting here like falling for it. It's like everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid. Nobody went to Google.
Hey,
I think I used that reference to someone. I said, "Stop drinking that Kool-Aid, and you might need to drink a little something stiffer, whatever than Kool-Aid, because she definitely got you sipping off that shit. You need a little something harder, 1738 or whatever, something."
But people don't. Go ahead, Dave.
I want to mispronounce his name, but Ilkan, he said, she truly needs help. I worked in mental health for 15 years. She's manipulating context and info to fit her narrative. She's an adult that's behaving as a hurt child. She will push her fans away.
Yeah.
And brother, if you want to come on here and speak whatever, we could drop this link, whatever, and you could come on because you was on just as well as I was on, and how she tried to
is this who she was talking to on
Saturday night? Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. So if you want to, you could join as well. And she would love that because I know her ass looking. I know her ass looking. I know.
I hope he does have the time to come on. I pray he does.
Because she'll
Ilkan Ali. Okay.
Yeah. She'll make a video tomorrow. Them motherfuckers went on here. Let me tell you, all of they asses was out there. I'm telling you, I'm guaranteed. I'll share it to the counselor's corner. She's going to do it because that's all she has. She needs to be validated. She needs victory because she's so hurt. She's so hurt and so much pain, and any little thing is a victory to her. Any little thing.
And that's how she uses men. Notice, she doesn't go up against women like that. She only does it with men. That's her trying to exact a measure of revenge.
Yeah, because even when Shaughnessy asked her, she was nice. She's like, "Oh, do I got another one? Do I got another one?" She's interested and wanted to show you stats and shit from TikTok and all of that retention levels or how many people stay on and listen to her stuff. Trying to woo you in with numbers. You sick ass, but
yeah, and I just wasn't trying to. I just wanted to know your end game. What was, and she couldn't tell me that. She doesn't want the men to know.
Yeah. Sound like Colin Kaepernick. He didn't want people to know that because there wasn't one.
So let's move on to her number 2 point. It's like women don't know their worth because they don't know men. And in some cases, some women may not know their worth. They'll shout out, "Oh, I know my worth. I know my worth." But there's a lot of women that know their worth, and they can stand by it. Defend it just by their everyday actions.
Right. I think the fact that women don't know their worth because they don't know men is again a narrative. That one thing is true. I do think that there are women that are struggling with realizing their worth. You see that a lot. We also see that a lot um, in relationships, and women just knowing when it's time to go, when it's time to stop dealing with nonsense, madness, etc., etc. But I don't think you have to know men to know your worth. You just have to simply be willing or not be willing to put up with certain things.
And I think that's true. When you know yourself and you about something, no matter what, if it don't feel right, you're gonna say, I got to freaking go. This shit don't feel right to me, because you know yourself and you may love yourself, whatever. So
And
it's
that could
not.
be in friendships
Yeah,
too. That could be in
yeah.
friendships where you know your worth. Like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with the fact that every Saturday you want me to watch your kids so you can go out to the club and you'll never invite me to the club. Like, I know I'm better than this. I know that, I'm every time you call me, you want something, but when I call you, you busy or you're at work or you can't cater to me the same way you expect me to cater to you. I know I'm a better person than that. I know that I am capable of having a friend that will reciprocate from me. That has nothing to do with the man.
Yeah. So we got a brother on here, whatever.
Oh,
Mr. Ali, what's good, brother?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing today?
hey
Good,
man, what's
good,
going
man.
on?
Good, good.
Hello.
Does my mic sound okay, or am I
Yes.
Yes.
make
That was
sense?
everything
Okay.
good, yeah.
Yeah,
And if
my
y'all
mic.
try to jump me on here, I'm calling Princella.
Yeah.
No, that's not. No, that's not my intent at all. I mean,
I'm just joking.
I came from a extremely solid family, generationally with family. You know, everything wasn't perfect, but I was brought up to keep everything in order and for families to stay together. You know, nobody was. We never were put in positions where people were taught how to quit. You know, but
Exactly.
in my experience in life, even with her, you know, just to come off as a positive note, I believe she's an extremely intelligent woman. Um, and you know, I've watched several videos of her. I didn't want to go on her show to attack her. I didn't want to go on her show to discredit her. But I thought we would have a civil discussion, which we didn't. But I have to accept, like, in order to keep her narrative going, she has to control the platform, and
Mm-hmm.
she can. So when she asks certain questions, when she asks me certain questions and I answer them, even if I said the same thing she said, no matter what, she was gonna find everything wrong with what I said. You know, even if I said she had a blue hat on, she would have said, no, it's not a blue hat, it's light blue. You know, that she set the whole show to set the narrative to make it seem like that a brother came on the show to be against her and women, when I'm a brother that's vested in my community and I help my community. I'm about, you know, supporting women, men, and children. You know, we have a saying in my culture that the heaven is underneath a woman's feet. And it doesn't mean that you're inferior to her, but it just means that holding up you're only as high as the women in your nation, you know. And we
Mm-hmm.
do that. There is a beautiful foundation, and when you have beautiful women, that are the foundation of households and families that help in her true nature and collaborating with everyone and keeping the family together. So a woman's true nature is to try to outlove us, not to outthink us. You know, if she tries to outthink us, men are already deeply rooted in understanding already. You know, women are the epitome of truth, and men are built to know the truth. You know, so if we meet women and they're not moving in a certain manner, brothers and men naturally would treat women accordingly. If she's behaving in a manner that's sexual and for attention, that's what a man will give her. If she's behaving in a manner as a wife or motherly or a woman who you can add to your life, that's how a brother would treat her. So, you know, it was unfair in how she moved, but I already knew what I was signing myself up for. I wanted to ask her certain questions, you know, to see how she would respond and the manner she would respond. There's a lot of things that was picked up that I won't even discuss because I respect people and what I noticed as an individual too, and regardless of some stuff y'all already discussed. But I won't talk about that. But it's fair to say that the assessment of her saying, it's including the brothers that's on this panel or brothers I've met in my life, to go as far to say brothers are incapable of is doing a disservice to society, period, when we all have a responsibility to each other and a responsibility to love, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think that's just nonsense to put that out there, whatever, to people, whatever, because
Mm-hmm.
now if you got weak people and they thinking now they looking at all men like that, father of your
Tearing
children,
up
your
the
fathers,
exactly.
grandfathers, and stuff like that, and you
Tearing
know
up the
that.
community.
Yeah, they may
Mm.
not verbalize it like that, but you know that they love you. My grandfather ain't never said he loved me, but we knew that he loved us because he went to work and he made sure that he took care of everything. Like if it was a deficit, he worked so that he could fill the void and stuff like that. I mean, my father got caught up in his vices, whatever, but I can't say he didn't love me, whatever. He just
Right.
went the vicious cycle with his father. So he didn't know. He didn't
Right.
know no better.
Right.
So I didn't hold that against me to stop who I'm being, but to say, oh, I want to eliminate men, to tell women not to deal with men. Nah, that's some old toxic ass shit. I never see. That's wild.
Right.
And that's what's confusing to me because what is the end game there? So you want all of these women to just stop dealing with men, stop talking to men, don't create families with these men, don't relationships, marriage, none of that. So what happens to our community? What
Mm-hmm.
happens to your baby girl who's in the background of your videos?
Right.
She's to be lonely with a cat? Like what's the goal here?
Right. There's two things happening. The which in my field, forget my field, just in my experience and my family and things that I've seen. A lot of those women want to be heard and want people to identify what they went through, which is justifiable. A lot of things in our communities aren't addressed, but we're not addressing both sides. We're not addressing the toxic behaviors our women and our men are doing to our families. And I think a lot of those women just want to be heard and be felt. But in order for those things to take place, accountability from their side has to take place as well too. Whether you grew up in a broken household or whether there was behaviors you went away from that your parents implemented in you that made you attract those men that came into your life. So if someone mistreated you, you have to process your position that's in your own mistreatment. Because even me, I took accountability for the things I went through in my life. I had to look at the mirror and go, hey, how did I put myself in this position, or what did I stray away from or not listen to? When a lot of people keep, a lot of our part of our society wants people to not judge. But in order for all of us to be true, in order for us to sustain strong relationships with each other, we have to judge, so that when something happens, we can't blame it on other people and we can't say we didn't know better. We have to have a community that judges. And even if it has to go as far as shaming to keep people honest, to keep a strong, foundation, we have to talk about those things, And then the other part of it is that a lot of them are becoming what they believe hurt them, so that it never happens to them again. And so they start competing with men and trying to outdo who did that to them, which is a very extremely dangerous
Absolutely.
thing. You end up being the narcissist that you say hurt you. So then we know this. I try to bring studies to her because I'm the same way she is. I try to bring genuine studies in regards to things she did. One thing is when she's saying men are incapable of love, okay? And she was talking about Maslow's your hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You cannot achieve self-actualization without collaborating with human beings and having a human interaction. You need human interaction and to be loved and to be identified in order to love and to grow into and fully develop into a person, to acknowledge safety, to acknowledge to get your food, to get your identity. All of us in this panel had to have somebody identify us as someone special, whether it's our mother, father, uncles, aunts, grandparents, friends, and the neighbors. We are all in this room because a lot of us were loved and we identified with love. So if we come from brokenness, a lot of people will be broken. If we come from solid relationships, that's what establishes everyone that's on this panel to be who they are as a person. There's a study they did on babies in the 20th century that in reference to when they were doing orphans, they're putting kids in orphans and nurseries. 100%, it was 100% mortality rate for little babies that were put in orphanages and nurseries. And what they saw also that went into 1940s, when they were still trying to develop methods to keep this from happening, 1 out of 3 babies were still dying. And the two of the babies that wouldn't die, they had extreme cognitive, behavioral, and psychological disorders because we need love. The women need love. The children need love. The impacts of fatherless homes, all these things impact the woman and the child and their mothers and the man. It impacts our whole community, you know. So there's a lot of things that when she talked about psychology, those things that she brought up are already refuted. And I'd also want to tell y'all this: the fact that she's bringing a book, if she researched it, women are more obsessed with self-care because of their inability to hold themselves accountable. And I'm talking about broken women, not strong women who were born with value. A lot of women who are already established, who are very strong women, who are family women, they were taught accountability and responsibility. A lot of women who weren't, their mentality wasn't set on that. So a lot of women, these self-help books, they did a study, it says that it puts women in even worse predicaments and conditions because it doesn't help them to develop into a woman. All it does is still make them profess themselves and still continue to be selfish and blame it on everybody else. So the books don't even help them. So all the philosophy and theory she was bringing, if we can take time to actually talk about it and have a genuine discourse, she'll disprove her whole self with whatever she's bringing to the table. And I'm not saying everything she said was wrong. There are things she's bringing in truth with manipulation to distort reality, and then she keeps it as true. And then the women on her page, because they're upset men, hold to that truth and they continue on that path. And what's crazy is I've already seen an older woman. She started getting a huge following doing the same thing she was doing, and now nobody listens to her, nobody follows her, because at the end, all she's setting people up is to be narcissists that ends up imploding, and they lose everybody. They push them, that they destroy themselves, they push the men away, and they push their children away. You know,
that's gonna happen.
Yeah. But I pray
and
for
that's
her.
why I said, what's the end goal?
Right. What's the end goal?
Because when you think about, even when you talk about the self-help stuff, whatever, unless somebody actually seeing it, you can read a book, but you need to actually visualize it, touch, feel, to know, or see somebody like, damn, they lived it. I seen them live it. So it works, whatever. But just reading a book, that I've read a lot of self-help books, but you like, yeah, whatever. But unless you actually, it's tangible, that's what clearly locks people in. Tangible stuff that you visually see yourself, or that you could touch or feel.
Right. And I asked, I don't know if y'all were able to watch the show. I asked her that. I asked her if the people who buy your book have never met you, have never heard you, could they really know who you are? And she admitted no. She started, explaining philosophically things based on what I asked her, but I just asked her a simple question. And we had discussed that. So then I asked her panel, I said, out of all the women that's on this live and you, have you ever encountered an actual man and woman, or all these women here, are they broken people who've never encountered a man or woman? So how would you know if you ever met one? You know?
Yeah, you was asking legitimate questions, but once they're such big cheerleaders or followers of her that nothing you could say will get approved. Not anything you can say, yeah, you're right. She's never going to admit that. And then it's like I said, it's so funny to see some of them dudes that would be carrying on.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like, y'all serious?
I saw that. Right.
Y'all serious?
Right. But we do have a duty as brothers and sisters, though, when we see that happen in our community and people are pointing their fingers, we have to simultaneously be able to address what's going on without responding in the same manner. Because if our true intention is to help people and love people, we have to stay on that same foundation. That's why when I went there, I listened. I tried to listen as much as possible. I didn't act out. I knew anything because I understood what was already going on. But when I did respond, she told everybody she let me speak the whole time. There was people who were telling her to let me speak, but I understood what was happening. But I wanted that video and live to demonstrate what is actually happening. When a brother does come with there as an ally, that's supposed to be by nature. Men are here to protect, provide, and support our women, and women being the epitome of love. That's supposed to be the nurturer, which I explained as well. She explained, because if she's gonna say brothers are incapable of love, okay, by nature, and we accept it, and we say that women are already born principled with the foundations, that mean that women are supposed to be the first teachers of children and the first nurturer of children. So how are you turning your back on your responsibility to teach a boy and to teach a young girl love? You know, that's your responsibility as a woman. The boy returns back home when you love him. He goes, I'm supposed to come back and protect my mother, and a woman that emulates the same thing she does. And the little girl goes, I'm supposed to love the community. I'm supposed to love the village. But she didn't give me space to say those things, because I understand that in saying those things, the skeleton out of everybody's closet has to open up. People don't want to open the skeletons in their closet, and people don't want to address the pain and feel it when people are holding it accountable, because in order to live and fuel the hate, then you have to keep that alive. And the thing that we know this about our women too, our women are the epitome of love. But if you can change her frequency to hate, our women can go the rest of their lives without having a man ever. And I've seen my aunts, I've seen my grandparents or other people's grandparents and aunts be able to live the rest of their life without a man or anybody in their life. You know, just once they change their frequency, their energy of love can be the same if they make it something that becomes bitterness and resentment, and they don't want to have anything to do with, you know, the children or the men or the women unless they enable them, and they end up losing everybody in their life, you know.
But with those individuals, you can see something is off about them. It ain't that balance, it ain't that happiness. Like, why the hell they so mean and angry? Like, you can't say nothing to them. You can see them older people just mad at the world, no matter what.
All the time.
But the ones that's got fully love and they got, you know, not saying total control, but they got a nice balance in their life.
The body language,
they're sweet as pie. Whatever, like they're understanding and caring and willing to help and to push their message and share things they went through. So it's a lot to think about.
Right. But we have to restore our communities. We have to come as allies to our women, to our brothers, but by still holding them accountable. You know, it ain't no sugarcoating. It's not you know, understanding gradualism. It's, if you want to get better and do better, then we all have to hold ourselves accountable and be responsible of how we treat each other, how we treat our boys, our girls. Not make sure we're not hypersexualizing our girls, making sure we're not emasculating our boys, and make sure our boys have something to live for. If the culture of our women has gone so left that young men, they're looking at, she brought on her videos. Young men are becoming more and more unmotivated, or their testosterone levels are going down. They don't want to be intimate with women, and they're checking out away from a lot of women. And I'm not saying it's all women. We know as brothers and sisters that there's a lot of issues going on in our community, which has come from hurt. But once boys don't have the purpose or the method or the meaning of wanting to be with a woman, our communities are gone. And once our sisters don't become the foundation of society and have something for our brothers to live for, our lineages are done, you know?
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I want Herb and Shaughnessy to get a chance to speak, one of the things people not going to touch on, that a lot of our boys went through sexual assault themselves. Probably more, like, it's more swept under the rug than talked about. And one of the biggest perpetrators of that, like she went to say, like again, like men and boys are horn dogs and they do this and that. But a lot of women took advantage of young boys. And they keep it in, and they never address it. And in order to change this thing, we have to deal with men and their feelings, whatever. And this was like something I read out of a John Hopkins study recently. So when you want to talk all that stuff, you can't go back to this Time magazine article. You got to cover the gambit. So when I was trying to say, I said, so what does it say about women? I was trying to connect the dots, because you have to talk about both. You just can't talk about one without talking about the other. It goes together. But no, because Kevin Samuels and Tommy Sotomayor, they always talk about, well, I'm not talking about that shit. That have nothing to do with that.
Right.
But you're trying to be Kevin Samuels in a female version.
Right.
But you didn't really understand what he was trying to do.
Right. I was going to say that too. Yep.
So Herb, Shaughnessy, anything y'all want to add in?
I think the reason why it's not addressed in the manner that it needs to be is because it's going to ultimately lead back to female accountability.
Yep.
And we know that is one of the most toughest things to get by, is accountability for women.
Yep.
This is why you see the backlash you do with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, because that was their fail-safe card. if birth control fails, they can't engage in the hedonistic culture that they were raised in. So all of a sudden now, it doesn't become about what a man didn't do because now they can't erase the oops that they made. And so now they have to be more selective, aka accountable for the men they allow to penetrate them. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what any woman says, ultimately she gets to decide who she has sex with. At least in Western culture countries. We're not speaking in countries of India where rape is prevalent. We're not talking about in Islamic cultures where patriarchy is actually patriarchy, not the patriarchy that we think it is in Western cultures. Islamic cultures, China, India, those are true patriarchies where the men actually rule and their challenge is unquestioned. Not what we think of in America that's a quasi patriarchy.
That's right.
Because there's the reason why the movie The Hand That Rocks the Cradle was made. There's a book about it. And The Hand That Rocks the Cradle rules the world, which is why Caucasian women still sit at the pinnacle of power in this country.
Yep.
Shaughnessy, what you got to say?
Herb, you lost me with that. Women trying to cover up their oops.
It is. What was abortion?
Not to brothers. Not to brothers. He didn't lose the brothers. And just like Miss Princella was using other people's theories, but I create theories as well too. I create my own theories, and I think about this stuff 24/7, 365. I've already come out with a theory. I go through the theory. Feminist women, and I say masculine women, are gonna join with simping men, which are feminine men. They're gonna come out with birth control that's gonna allow the few men that's gonna be left for majority of these women. They're gonna come out with birth control to where women have to acknowledge and admit that they want marriages, relationships, and babies from men, and it's going to be a few men. It's even what's crazy is it's written in the Bible that 7 women will cling on to one man. They will say, "We will get our own bread, we will get our own apparel. We want your name to keep from having a reproach," and it's happening right now. Women are going so far. Women are going so far left in proving that they can live without men. They're strong and independent. They don't need marriage anymore for stability and security. But somehow all our women, especially they're career driven and trying to raise children, are going to therapy and telling everyone that nobody helps them and they get no support. But they're making decisions to put themselves in that position. But so what's going to happen eventually, if even look at like my brother was talking about the abortion, if mothers and women are saying they have the right to not be mothers when they choose to, then that right should be given to a man as well too. To me, that law should be a mother and father have to give consent in order for a child to come in this world. Because just like my brother said, the woman determines whether we talk to her, whether we invite her to her house, whether we're intimate with her, whether we make love to her. And none of us plan to have children. None of us plan to get married. None of us did anything moral. But as soon as a baby comes, she decides whether she wants to keep that man's baby or she wants to get rid of it. Because a lot of times you see women will keep the baby from a man they want in their life, and they'll get rid of the baby of the man they don't want in their life. They get to choose. But you can't say brothers can't have no choice before birth, but then when birth comes, then you tell a brother he's responsible for a baby. Yeah. So if a woman has the right to terminate a child when she wants to, a brother should have the right, even though I don't justify it, should have the right to walk away from a child if that's the game we're going to play.
So I was just about to say, and I'm not saying that this is the end all be all, because I do understand what you're saying. But in a sense of a man being able to, because both men and women can terminate their parental rights. So in a sense where a woman decides to have a baby and you didn't agree for this baby to come into this world, is it not something that you can just terminate your rights? Or do you feel like because that's already a human on this earth, it makes it a little bit stickier for you?
I believe culturally, and I believe the man that's on this panel, and I don't want to speak for the brothers, but if I'm not the type of man that can have a baby that comes into this world and I'm not in their life. I can't do it. I'm not telling a brother that he's wrong if he terminates his rights to a child when he told a woman that he didn't want her or a baby. I'm not saying he's wrong, but I can't do it. It's just me. I can't do it because I have to take responsibility in the fact that I was behaving reckless as well. I have to take responsibility that I did have a baby with this woman, or I got her pregnant. But I understand that she's using her decision to manipulate. But if I did that and I made the mistake, then I have to still own up to it, no matter what, because we have to still push responsibilities to our families. If I have the child, I have to be accountable and I have to keep the lineage going. That's my child that's in this world, you know.
Yeah.
Same here, and the people that have listened to this platform for some time know the chronicle of my story. The situation I had with the 20-something that wanted to have a paternity test, and I haven't heard back from that individual since the test. So I'm going to go ahead with the presumption and the position that I held from day one that the child was never mine. But to what the young man has said, the parental termination is by state, and even if a man terminates his parental consent, he's still financially liable because the state does not want to be on the hook for the financial caring of that child. That's where the point of contention is. I don't think most men, whether they plan to have the child or not, are trying to advocate being the father. What men are saying is, just like the brother is saying, is if we're going to be held to the financial aspect, then we should be allowed to be there in every other aspect without the supervision of the state or the mother, because the mother's not being supervised by the state and the mother's not being supervised by anyone else. This is why it's so extremely difficult for men to get control of their children, regardless of ethnicity.
Well,
No, I agree with that because I'm a very, very much so 50-50 parent. Y'all see me on Monday nights. I don't be having no kids. They be right with their daddy. And that's only because, I don't want to say that's only because, but that is because both our children were just, and whether we made it or not, both of our children were decisions that we made. We made that decision. I just believe in even when it comes to, because neither one of my children were planned, but I do believe that men should have an opinion in that conversation because, just like I said, I'm very much 50-50. I don't believe in that mama's baby, daddy's maybe. No, if you help me make this and we decided we gonna do this. I don't care if you like, go ask your father. I don't care if it's a haircut, dye, you want color in your hair.
You're a good woman. You're a good
Yeah.
woman.
Ask your father.
You're a good woman. But can I add advice too to any brothers that's on the show? So something I just found out like 6 months ago, and what my brother was saying here, what I always thought as well too. So it's advice I can get, and my brother, I'd do this too if I was you. But so if a woman has a baby out of wedlock, the men have zero rights, which we identified.
That is very true.
But if you petition the court, you get an affidavit of parentage. If you get a DNA test and you petition the court, you have every rights to that child, and that baby's legitimized.
Correct.
No longer a legitimate child. And
You have
50-50. You get joint custody. You ask for joint custody, you will get joint custody. If you petition the court, what happens is a lot of brothers don't know this. So then the fact that he has zero rights, the court goes in favor of the mother because you neglected your duty to legitimize your child. So then the mother has to say so on what's going to happen with the child. But if you do if that baby hits this earth and you petition the court and you get that affidavit of parentage and you ask for that DNA test and say I'm that father, joint custody.
I was just about to say, and you don't have to. The baby can be 2 or 3 or 4. In my case, when me and my children's father split, I think I want to say my kids were 8 and 3. And it was more so of I think he was worried about my move to Virginia, kind of spooked him. So he wanted to go ahead and he was like, yeah, I don't know what you want. We going to court. They didn't know my address, didn't serve me, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, damn.
He got joint custody.
Yeah.
He got joint custody.
People
and
don't know
it wasn't
they
a
don't
fight.
know their laws. They don't know their laws.
Right, exactly. And that's why I always say, men, you have to advocate for his children. Because was I fighting him? Did I have the right? Like, once I know this, because of course we know the judicial process, both parties have to have notice or whatever. But it wasn't something that I wanted to fight. But if you want to, and then if a man goes and fight for their children, they will fight. And then even then with that, I had to even if I wanted child support, I had to solidify a reason to have child support. Where's your numbers? Let me see this. Let me see that. Well, if he has this and if you have that. And when it came out, it was like, honestly, y'all share the kids, say 50-50.
Yep.
Don't nobody get child
Don't
support.
nobody
for
get
real.
child support. Nope.
Don't nobody get child support. So you have to be there for your kids. Like, men, if you really want to be there for your kids and take care of your kids, show up, have them
They don't
receipts.
know.
And
They
I
just don't
always
know.
say I'm always an advocate for, you don't have to give that mother a dime. She wants you to pay for daycare, you pay for it. And I always told him this without even knowing what, the future would hold. But I guess it was more so prideful. I don't want you giving me any money, whether it's for daycare, camps, shoes, this, that. Kids grow, kids need clothes. Kids go to daycare. If you're going to pay daycare, don't go through me. Don't ask no price. If you don't send that, you know exactly what her name is, you know where she is, figure out how to make a payment to her. If you want to send me something, I say, yeah, he needs more underclothes, he needs this, he needs that, cite the store, send that thing, cite the store. You want to send Layla pull-ups, cite the store. Like, don't give me nothing. Don't give me nothing.
And you made a point, like with men following up, that a lot of men don't know. Like, you just can't move. Like, if you got custody or joint custody, you just can't move to another state. The father has to know about that. Either when you want to go out of country on a vacation, the father has to approve that and stuff like that. When you in sync with that, you have to get the father's permission. But a lot of times fathers,
on that
like,
birth certificate,
yeah, they don't get caught up with that stuff, and they just just let it go.
These kids are giving dads a fighting chance, and it doesn't have to be much. You could have not seen your child in a year. You go petition that court and say, I want visitation, I at least want a holiday, I at least want a birthday. They will give it to you.
All I can say about this is I'm just glad I don't have to deal with that nonsense anymore, man. I'm just I made my life pretty much foolproof to where I don't even have to worry about that type of nonsense. But for the
Right. And I'm
brothers
not
that's out
saying
there,
it's
man,
okay to have to fight. I'm not saying that because I hate that, it has to even be a fight sometimes. Like, just like I said, even in my situation, my children's father just was like, y'all far ways away, and I don't know what this means for me. Even though, like, you playing nice now, but I don't know what this means. And now, even with us in court, because we don't have, thank God, we didn't do any scheduled kind of anything. We just said, we joint custody, we gonna share these kids, blah blah blah. It makes it so easy because we don't have to stick to no dates. We don't have to stick to, if he want them 2 weekends in a row, cool. If he want them the whole summer, and then if I need him for a week because I have a party to go to, we could do that. It just, but men have to fight. You have to fight, and all the time it's not a big drawn out fight because these judges see it.
Can I ask you a question, sister?
Sure.
Would you, because of your experiences, recommend that our women make sure they're married to the brother before they have children with them going forward?
That is a loaded question. In my instance and in my situation, because I was so young and had a child, and because of the role that I played in the household, I would say yes. But at the same time, it would just be monetary based. The only thing I see me winning by being married would be alimony. Other than that, I don't think it would have been any different.
No. I'm asking you, would you recommend that for your children? Would you recommend that to someone, people who don't have kids, a man and women and children and future children? Would you recommend people getting married prior to having children?
Yeah, but to me, you can get married and you can get divorced. But and just like
right,
I do understand the principle of, once you take that oath and all that other good stuff. But I do feel like me personally.
Do you know? Can I tell you a stat? I believe 70% to 80% of young girls who were had out of wedlock get pregnant. I believe 8.8% of girls who are married don't have any that only have children out of that have children when the parents are married. It's a high percentage chance that someone's daughter, when they're married, is not going to have a teen pregnancy. But it's almost 70 to 80% chance that girl's going to have teen pregnancy if the kids had out of wedlock, and we see it generation after generation.
Yeah, you replicate what you see.
Yep.
That's interesting. I mean, it's believable.
Let me make sure
I did have my first child. I had my first child at 19, and we weren't married. And then 5 years later, I had my daughter. But the goal is always marriage. I would never tell or preach to my daughter like, "Oh, girl, you don't have to get married to have no kids." No, I would definitely want her to do things the right way. But I just feel like logistically, to me, it just protects assets. If I think about it that way, it protect assets. I guess that's because I feel like if I would have, and this is just me speaking on my situation, the only difference I think, or I feel that would have come from this is me being owner of businesses, me being, the businesses that I help you create, me getting income off those businesses, which personally I don't care because my kids are going to eat off of that. So I'm okay with that.
But the problem with that is you have a lot of women that don't have that mindset, and this is what the young man was speaking about when he said you're a good woman. Is if you come from an environment, let's take the environment that Tommy Sotomayor came from. If you come from that type of environment as a woman, then you're automatically anti-man because you don't think there's a man that's capable of doing something for you because you've never seen a man that's capable of doing for any woman that you know. So when that foundation is set and you build upon that foundation, the building that the female is going to inhabit is not conducive for a man to come in there and do something because before he can do something, he has to convince her. And I always say, never try to convince the convinced. That's a fool's errand and a waste of time. So even if she does conceive, that man is going to say, there is absolutely no way that I could go in there, stop the storm, and then fix the damage that the storm has done, and then create an environment that allows me to show her what I can do. That's a tall order for anybody. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. I could give y'all, if y'all want, I can give y'all some stats on if you want on the show, give you some stats on fatherless homes if y'all want.
I believe you. I don't know to me, I don't necessarily count my children as fatherless homes because they are with their father. They have a relationship with their father. They have lived with their father. We swapped the kids during COVID.
Oh yeah. We just talking in general though. Without we speaking in general about fatherless homes, of their impact on a home with a father. Not in your situation, you still have a man that's present, and y'all are co-parenting, right? You're co-parenting. We're talking about in general for so many houses that but you did the classic. You did the a lot of times our women would personalize it, but we talk about in general. I your body language and the way you're moving already on here, it tells me a lot of what kind of mother you already are. All of us are built like me. All the brothers on the panel can view your energy and already know how you probably mother, and everything you said in regardless to a man, we can already see that your household moves very different than a household that's really broken,
Yeah, I think that's the key thing.
Crazy about that is I had my father had his father. His father had his father. So, and that's my father and my mother didn't last, but I've always had, I guess that's kind of how I model my co-parenting. My mother and my father, they were actually friends, but just like I said, I model my co-parent in the sense we don't have to be friends. We just have to raise two successful human beings. That's it. That's all. I call your father to death, my kids.
Okay, I want to ask you another question. I'm gonna keep asking. So were y'all very close? Were y'all extremely close? How long were y'all together?
Too long.
Too long.
Too
From
long.
the
Oh Lord.
18 to 26, 27.
Okay. And so, I'm not even gonna get too personal. I want to ask you, do you ever think about why sisters would make certain decisions versus other decisions? And let me ask this. Like, I see sisters that will be with a man they loved, established years with, have security and safety with a man, but will leave that man because of indifference, and then start dating and I'm not speaking for you, I'm talking in general, will start dating lesser men and start moving in a manner that's opposite of what she was doing when she was married. Instead of staying, and this man that she's dealing with, she doesn't really like. She likes that she has kind of the emotional leverage on the guy. The guy may not really like her too, but she romanticizes it. He doesn't give her he doesn't put no money on the table. He does absolutely nothing for her kids. Why through the course of time do you think, or not even why, do you think it's smarter to stay with a man or like that you have a strong bond with versus continuously dealing with other men that you don't have that bond with?
I would say, first things first, I was very, very young. And that goes in one of the things that I think the reason why I stayed with my kid's father for so long is because that relationship emulated the relationships that I saw. So the relationships that I saw growing up was, you may not, and not to say that I saw my grandparents cheat or I saw, any cheating or anything going on with my mother and father, but I saw the focal point of the household being, you're a good father in the sense of you protect and you provide. You're in tune with your kids. And that's pretty much it. For me, I think I used to say this. Now I'm like, I'm cool. I'm over it. But I used to say, I wish that I would have took his invite to therapy. And I said that not necessarily because I was holding on to the relationship where I thought, maybe we could have been this, that, and the third. More so because I feel like it would have done a lot better for us in the co-parenting era. Because right now we are not friends. We cannot be friends. No. Literally the only thing we have down packed is the fact that we share our children and we have the same goal in mind. But I think I would have taken that that invite to go ahead to therapy just to kind of really dig into what he was doing, what he was feeling, because my kid's father's real ideal feeling was, I was just messing with the girls. I was gonna get right back. You don't want for nothing. They don't want for nothing. No, and I am so serious. When I tell you all, I didn't hear, see, or feel it. Literally, I swear it was something. One day I saw the phone light up on the bed, and I swear that bitch was just calling me. That it was just calling me. He ain't do not. When I say he didn't do anything, I literally didn't have any issue. I was working in the hospital, working 12-hour shifts.
And you left your man?
Oh, he was a cheater. Oh, he was a cheater.
Okay, can I ask you another? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question behind that question? Are men polygamous or monogamous by nature?
Polygamous. That's what I would guess.
So that's why I'm asking you again. I'm watching sisters, and this is why I have the truth will set all of us free. When men can tell the truth completely, there shouldn't be relationships that don't work. So majority of women that meet good men, they leave him because he was dealing with another woman. If they'll sacrifice that and stop dealing with great men, and they start dealing with lesser men who will cheat on them as well too, but don't do anything for them whatsoever, but are toxic. Okay. So then what happens after she gets to that guy? She goes to her third thing. She starts dating different men, back to back, and trying to get the same thing she got from the first guy, which was all his qualities, but she wants
Mhm.
control of the guy. So if you knew it, and women say they leave in women, they know men are polygamous, they know men are cheat. Why are women leaving men for cheating if our aunts and our grandmas, they were already created to keep the family together, understood what granddaddy and what dad was doing, and understood the man's happiness and his peace and who he was by nature? Why did those women stay with their families to get us all the way here? Now in 2022, women leave that man, that hive man, and start dating down and get to a point where they don't deal with men in any shape or fashion because they're waiting for a unicorn to come save them. But that guy's still sleeping with other women. And that guy wants a woman who doesn't have a high body count, and he wants a woman who will listen to him. So it aren't women. Isn't this why so many women are ended up single, 40, 50, 60 years old, waiting for some guy that's never coming?
I can agree with that to you, but you have to, and the main reason, and I'm going to speak for me in particular, you got to realize at 25 and 26, when I'm doing this, I'm talking to all my friends that are in master's programs, don't have any kids, you know, that don't, like, girl, we got you. And did my friends have me? Sure, they definitely did. I moved to Virginia with my homegirls. My homegirls, we all drove down here in the U-Haul. They were all to every other. It was on a rotation when I first moved, and I just was like, you know, I'm out of here. When I say my friends held me down, my kids' godmothers held me down on a rotation. One was paying for daycare this week. One was paying for daycare this week.
What do you think a brother like me and the brothers on this panel would have told you now in our maturity if you came to one of us as we're talking to us? Do you know what I do as a brother now? When I started dating women, if I heard a story just like you said, when I was lame and I was simping and I was doing things that other men are doing possibly now, I would take advantage of that and would still date the woman and have access to her. Well, hold on, watch. What I do now is say, he did what? Man, go back to that man. If he took care of his household, if he did everything he was supposed to do, you let your friends, you let another woman call you because she know who his value was, and and I'm not saying that's back then. I'm not speaking for you right now. I know you have a high mental capacity, intelligence. You were young, but I would tell you to go back to him and love him. We already know who he was by nature. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's the crazy. Let me tell you the craziest part. I'm seeing so many women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s now say they strong and independent. Would you relate to that?
Yeah.
Honestly, they'll say you know you'd say
I'll say this. I'm not so the reason why I say that is because I will never ever come off as the damsel in distress, but I do utilize male and male energy and male friends.
Okay.
I know how to change a tire. I know how to change a tail light.
You don't have to though. You didn't have to.
I won't. I sure the hell won't.
Right. But what I'm saying is that women profess they're strong and independent. They say they no longer need marriage for stability and security. A lot of women are also going to therapy. Okay. Right. And then they end up they're by themselves now and say they don't need men emotionally. Are you with me?
Well, why? No, I don't think.
Oh no, hold on, let me finish. Why don't those same women, seeing what grandma and mama did, still keep their man if there's no longer a need for an emotional connection? Just keep the first man you got to do everything.
I definitely understand that concept, but that's something that comes with growth, because just like you said, had I known what I've know now, I would have just went to school. I would have gotten all the degrees that I need to do.
And you would have stayed with them.
I would have absolutely.
So would you tell women now and recommend women to stay with a great man if that's his flaw?
It would have to be a plan. It would have to be a plan in place.
That's gonna be a lot of shit.
You would have to have a plan in place. It would have to be a plan in place.
All the brothers that are sitting on this panel have always asked. Women have always asked us to tell them the truth, and when we tell them the truth, they tell us we're misogynistic, we're narcissists, and then we hate women. And then they'll ask us who hurt us, a rhetorical question. Because what happens is if she loses the love of her life to honesty, she starts dealing with every man in a capacity and comparing that man to that man and never gets that man typically ever again. She'll never get a man like that ever again in her life, because the man like me and the brothers on this panel will ask you about that guy if we really care about you. And when you tell us that's all he did, it's going to be a red flag right away. Because we go, man, that man did all those things and you left him?
Yeah.
So, who wants to share their person?
If you're single, if you're dating, if you're in a relationship or married, you're sharing a man.
Yeah, I think when you put that out there,
I don't know why you asked that question when you just admitted what it was. If you're single, if you're dating, if you're in a relationship or married, you are sharing a man. You allowed sisters who couldn't keep a man and didn't know how to love a man convince you to leave your man. But everyone knows that we are all, a man is never, a relationship status does not apply to men. So women can get sex when they want, men get sex when they can. Men get relationships and marriage when we want, women get relationships and marriages when they can. We can get, brothers right here can get a relationship anytime they want to.
Yeah. Well,
relationships don't apply to us. The westernized world convinced women that relationships apply to us, and it doesn't. That's why we can have 1,000 women and a woman can't keep one man. One man. One.
And what he's saying is these are the lessons that have never been passed down from subsequent generations to the generations. Case in point.
Right.
And I said the meme about this, you know, when the mother was doing when somebody was asked to do their mother's hair, and they were combing the mother's hair, and the mother jumped, they slapped her with the comb and said, "Why you jumping? Because you moved." That was the daughter-mother bonding period. That was when the beginning of being a woman and learning the steps in the process of being a mother started. Same thing with boys when your mother would say, "Go out there and play with your siblings. Go out there and hang out with your father." What the mother was saying indirectly was, you need to go learn to be a man. Stop hanging around with girls. This is why the girls who hung out with boys were always called tomboys. This is why her foray into femininity was delayed. Not stopped, but just delayed. Because once she started to develop, boys didn't look at her quite the same, as she wanted to be treated the same. And they said, "Hey, look, we can't deal with you." It's not because they didn't like her. It was because the biological process repels each other. So the boy, in order to protect her, denies his natural inclination to be sexually attracted to her, because at some point in time, he knows that it's wrong. Not because it's not natural, but because he doesn't know enough to say, okay, if I do something with her, what's going to be the end result? See, a lot of people don't understand that as boys, as young boys, we know intrinsically that that's right, but it's wrong. And this is what Priscilla doesn't understand, because she's never been there. So when she makes these type of statements, in order to understand men, you have to go through the process of being a young boy.
Yes.
And being that she didn't, she can't. She's incapable of. This is why they talk about the psychology of a lot of things. This is why they talk about the transformation of coming from a young boy into his own. This is why do you think sex offenders are treated so harshly in jail? They are the absolute lowest of the low criminal element. Doesn't matter who else is there. They are treated so horribly that they are kept almost an isolation unit, so nobody does anything to them. So when she talks about men are incapable of love, to kill for somebody is the ultimate form of showing how much you care about somebody else. You have people in here who are willing to kill for somebody that they don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, but back to the original point. The information, in order to be utilized, has to be passed from generation to generation, whether it's written or spoken.
Yep.
Think about all the songs in our culture that conveyed some information. Follow the Drinking Gourd. Thought was a catchy hymn. No, it was telling people how to escape slavery. That's one of many songs in our culture that has disseminated information. That's because that is useful. We don't know when it's going to be useful. We just know it's useful. And because, and Kevin Samuels used to say this all the time, he said, your aunts, your mamas, your sisters, they failed you because they didn't prepare y'all for what was coming on. Just like the man is saying, he said your grandmother and your mother knew that your father had a family on the other side of town. But what was important was the fact that he came home and he knew this was home. No matter what he did out yonder in them streets, this was home. And this is why I referenced the movie Fences, because Fences talks about all of this. And Fences, believe it or not, that movie play is about 30, 40 years old, or somewhere around there. Because James Earl Jones actually did the play on Broadway. So when we watch these type of movies, we need to take the lessons that these movies are trying to disseminate and apply them. Because the more we apply these lessons, even in the diminished numbers that we have in this country, we become a more cohesive force. So it don't matter if we 9% of the population, or as we currently stand 13, we are a focused group. But right now, we're just not focused.
But we do understand that even when you say like Fences and all the stuff, you're still gonna have that woman population that say that we don't have to do this anymore because we're independent. We make just as much, so we don't have to tolerate that stuff. So that message is being driven home on a regular basis.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with income and equality having a lot to do with a lot more women staying versus going. But to me, I personally feel that if two people agree to have a certain type of relationship and we are not in agreement with what type of relationship this is anymore, then it's a wrap.
Well, the thing about that is this, and I always reference Alan Roger Curry's book Mode 1. Put it on the table. Put it on the table. Obsidian says this. He says the number one problem that we have in Black America is this. Men don't want to be honest and women don't want to accept the truth.
Yep.
If it's in men's nature to have multiple women, put it on the table. Just say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do, or this is what I want to do. I want to have multiple women, but I want to make you number one. The man mentioned polygamy. If that man is capable of taking care of home, let him take care of home. And if a child happens to come of the union, make sure that child is raised up in that union so that child does not know anything about what adults are doing. Too many adults want to involve kids in business that they don't have no goddamn business knowing about.
I do agree with that.
It ain't your kids' business what y'all do as adults. Period.
And sister, you do realize that the women who remain wives, the women who remain divine, are the women that stay in the lane of loyalty. As long as you are loyal, the only way a man can be loved and known he's loved is a woman who's truly loyal to him. And he will die and live for her for the rest of his life, as long as she's loyal to him. Once you go into the lane with other sisters who are dating, who are putting up their body count, who are being compromised with other brothers, you are now on the other side. You're on the dark side of the moon, and you're technically in a man's land. You are not. You want to stay in no man's land. Or you don't want to be on the dark side of the moon. The only way we can show you that we love you is that we take care of you. Everything else is irrelevant. We have to take. We will take care of you. But The same thing my brother's saying. We don't teach the dichotomy and the upbringing of a little boy, nor do we talk about the love or the lack of love he may get in a broken household. So in a household where he's loved with abundance, he's made a man as soon as he probably turned about 3, 4, 5 years old. Everything, get up. That
Yes.
didn't hurt you. Don't cry.
Right.
He can't do no complaining. The young daughter is given all the provisions and privileges of the household. Everything
Mhm.
is always her way because her mother
Mhm.
is raising up a queen. She's raising up someone that never goes against the man, the woman, the child, or the family. So the little boy is not, he goes through, a grown man, a little boy will always go through struggle and difficulty for the rest of his life. That's what he's
Yeah.
brought. That's why he goes to the dark side of the moon. He feels the whole earth in it on his neck until he probably gets to get his things together in his 30s. And his reward for when he did all those things is supposed to be a good woman that stayed on the light side of the moon. You understand what I'm saying? And
So
then
the loyalty is not, you don't think, or in this theory, loyalty doesn't go both ways.
a
It's
man's way
not
of
it's
being
not
loyal
about
to you is different than you being loyal to a man.
right. Yeah. Look at it like this.
Mm.
You take a dishonest man and you put him next to a honest woman. His right hand man is going to lead that dishonest man because he can't trust him.
Mhm.
Period.
Mm.
Once a woman becomes dishonest and disloyal, she's of no good to no one.
To no one. It's a wrap.
That means the community is going to ostracize her, just like the brother said. She's going to find herself vulnerable, unprotected, uncared, and unwanted.
Oh.
She's not going to be able to survive long because she's going to be getting picked at from every which way. Conversely, a disloyal man has the opportunity because men are built to survive alone. Doesn't mean he will.
Yes.
He has a better chance.
Yes.
This is why women who were dishonest and disloyal were cast out because the married women couldn't trust her around her husband. This is why the prostitutes were put in a place where they knew where they were. And as soon as they came out there, it wasn't the men that chased them back, it was the women. Always been like that in the righteous village. The women are going to say, hey, look, we don't want your kind around here because we can't trust you.
And it might sound crazy. Sometimes another woman keeps your family together, whether you acknowledge it or not. Sometimes all the things that a man's going through in his household, when a woman forgets her femininity and the things she's supposed to do to her man or even catering to her man, he goes to get peace back from somewhere to add it back to his house because he's not getting peace from his responsibility. But he does not give up his responsibility to that house. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's a natural order of things that men, and just like my brother said right down, that was passed down through man to man. A man that's completely honest, that tells the truth, is a strong man that's not afraid to lose women for telling the truth because he'll always have women.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
A man who will lie lives through women. He depends on a woman for security. He depends on a woman for identity. He does not have the strength to tell her the truth. And you know what? Women know when a man is lying. And the women know when a man is telling the truth. But the funny thing to me is when you know your man is lying to keep you happy and to keep his family together versus a man who just deliberately neglecting his responsibility, you still choose to leave that man. And you know he lied to keep you happy. That's the only reason why. He did not think you can handle the truth. And you still leave him. Versus a man who's lying and did nothing for you and he living off you.
Well, see, I can't compare or make that comparison because I haven't dealt with the other situation. But it's just, that is, oh
It's
my
the
God.
truth. It's the
so
truth. It's just
gaslighty.
it's the truth. It's the truth. It is not gaslight. It's like we gotta take our women's her PTSD that she might come through if she did go through that. We gotta take your you when you're on your period. We gotta take you with your mood swings. We have to die and live for you for the rest of our life. All you have to do is pick up the slack, and we have to be your resource. Realize when women do, I don't know if you think about this right now. all my older women in my family, all the older women I know in my life, they're tired of working. They were never meant, they were never meant to go through the stuff that men go. Men made sure that women never encountered what a man encountered.
Right.
Because of her empathy, she'll start being physically, spiritually, and mentally drained. An experienced man is a wise and talented and skilled man. An experienced woman is a scarred and broken, typically indecisive and emotionally unstable woman. You got to think about those things. We're supposed to go through that. You're not. Everything you go through, you feel and hold. We can meet a woman today. Something happened. I don't even know what she looked like.
Right.
You know, in everything in life, we're made to take pain and endure it. And like, that wasn't nothing. That was nothing. I got a responsibility to take care of my family. A woman endures that. Oh my God. I'm tired of this. I can't do, I need help. And they'll say it. I need help. I'm going to therapy. No, you need a man. That's your help. The therapist ain't your man. The man is the void filler. Man was a woman's void filler. He was your rock. That's what you're looking for. That women, I don't need that. Then why you going to all these? You going to your friends? When you get mad at her, you call her a little, whatchamacallit. You say she messy. When you get mad at the gay friend, you'll call him really by what you call him. If you're dealing with a white man, if you get mad at him, you'll call him a racist. I mean, and when you get mad at a real man, you'll call him a bitch, and you'll call him gay too. You know the truth. A lot of women are befriending and being close with the people who only rock with you because they either enable you or they accept you as a woman and you're not even being a woman. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the general population of women. Real men hold women accountable and they tell her the truth. Because all my life, just like the brothers, I know that I ain't got to ask. Every time, the first time things happened where I did lie, a woman told me, she said, you know what? Just tell me the truth and let me choose. Have you ever said that before?
Yes.
Brothers, have y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Brothers,
I'm not in the habit of lying to women.
Right. Have you
That's
said
something
that,
I do.
Have you said that, my sister?
Definitely.
So then why didn't you, when he told you the truth, why didn't you choose loyalty and choose him over everybody else?
He ain't tell me the truth.
No, you know what I'm saying though. You know what I'm saying.
But to me, so
he would have told you the truth
when
did he try to tell you the truth when he lost you?
I don't know. That's what I said. I turned down that therapy. I turned it down.
Man.
I turned it down. I turned it down.
How many years? How many years?
8. So what was it, 8, 9?
8, 9 years. Now let me ask you one more question. This is a real question. Another real question. I ask all my. Do you think your life would be better with him right now, or what you doing right now? Honestly. Honestly, and
no,
honest
I don't know. I don't think my life would be better.
You just said he did everything.
Yeah, but so.
Oh my God.
And please understand what I'm saying. I don't feel like my life would be better based on what emotional state I would be unhappy.
Why are you happy now?
Huh?
Why are you happy right now without him? If you were happy, this is what I'm asking you. A sister's you're the epitome of love. You're using ego. You were unhappy at the time he was with you, but you're happy now, right? You said you're better off right now. That means how you would think about it was the problem. It wasn't the fact that it was your ego that was bothered. It wasn't the fact that you was actually unhappy. It was your ego. You didn't accept the truth.
I don't know about that.
Then think about it.
I feel like I accepted the truth in knowing that this person is not willing to be just about me. This is going to be something that continues on.
From almost all brothers, though. It's from it's any brother who has the options and a certain caliber man, they're going to. The lower men are not.
They can't. They're not positioned to.
They can't.
So Shaughnessy, why do you think?
Well, I guess I'm gonna wait. Till they get older.
Lord, you're gonna do everything that our grandmothers and aunts who decided to do that. You go to your grave alone.
I'm messing. I'm messing. I just don't. That's not something that I would continue. No, that situation wasn't for me. It was one of those. Nope.
Okay, let's let me ask this question. I'm gonna follow what the brother was saying. If a shit hits the fan situation arose in your immediate family, no members, no males in your immediate family are within reach of you, who's the first man that you call?
My friend.
Okay.
Wait, it depends. Wait, you saying like in an
I'm
immediate
just
reach,
in
like me here,
in a
me
shit
here in
hits
Virginia
the
Beach. It depends on
where
what
you
type of
are.
shit. Oh, like right
Shit
here.
hits the fan. It's shit's going down. You got to get out. You can't call any members of your immediate family, no males. Who's the first man you're gonna call?
My friend.
Before
Okay.
that man, are you serious right now?
Before what man? Before
The man,
wait.
oh my goodness, the
Oh
man
wait,
is
for
in.
my kid's
Oh my
father?
goodness, you know who
Wait,
we would
before my
call?
kids.
Hold on. Do you know who we would call? We would call your
Who?
man first. If you was in an
Who?
emergency, something
No,
really
that's what
critical.
I said. My friend. My friend. Well, he not technically my man, but my kid's fault. Now let's be clear. Let's be very clear. If I needed to, and remember I live in a different state. I do not get along with my kid's father. We don't get along.
But
However,
this is what the
if
man is
I
trying to
was to
tell you
call
though.
him, if I was to call him and I did need something, he would make sure I am straight. But I do have somebody that would make sure that I was straight. Actually, my
Are y'all
car is in the
married?
shop.
Are y'all married?
No, we are
I'm
not.
not
My
even gonna
car's in the
go.
shop. I'm actually driving his vehicle. I'm actually
But
driving
then
his vehicle.
what we're trying to get you to see is he's gonna take care of you. He's not gonna give a damn about them kids.
Who?
That's what the man that you're talking about. I
No, that's
wager my
not
life
true.
on that.
But no, that's not true at all.
So he's gonna
That's.
take care.
It
He's
depend
gonna
on the
take care of
man.
those kids better than the father.
It
I'm
depend
sorry.
on the man. Oh yeah, he said is he gonna take care of the kids better than his father, their
I
father?
don't. I don't think he would ever have that opportunity because their father is there.
But he's going to have to in a shit hits the fan scenario.
Oh yeah, no. If the shit hits the fan today or tomorrow, and let's say my kid's father become incapable of taking care of them, or if I
No.
need him to do something,
No.
let's just say this. Let's just say this. Zion is at school. We're in Virginia Beach. He is closer to here than his father, and I need him to go take care of something with my son. Yes, that is the person that I'm calling. In fact, that is the person that I call. I needed him over the summer. Zion forgot his Claritin, and he was in summer camp having a daggone sneeze attack, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't take my medicine. I didn't da 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 da." So yes, I was already at work. I can't leave the floor. I can't leave the unit. Yes, I do have somebody to call. Yes, he is that person that I call. He's gonna come to my house. He's gonna get his medicine. He's gonna go take it up to the camp. He's gonna make sure he has it. He's gonna make sure my kids are straight.
Okay. I
The
can't
same way
question
I
that.
would make sure his kids are straight. When he's out on the road, he knows for a fact that his kids can come here. His son knows he can come here.
Why haven't y'all got married?
So
Don't do look at this body language. See, that's what I'm trying to see.
you
Why haven't y'all
know,
got married? See them pauses?
remember that thing that you talked about
Yeah, I think I already know what
men
you're talking about.
and yeah. So I don't know.
So you're tolerating something. So nothing's a deal breaker unless you'll let man be a certain way as long as he doesn't deal with another woman.
Huh? No, not necessarily. That's not necessarily. Well, Herb and Mr. Glover, y'all gonna soon as I say this, you're gonna be like, oh my god, she done spun the block.
No, because I
Go
already
ahead.
know. I already
We
know.
all already know.
Shaughnessy ain't said nothing.
We all
I ain't
already
saying
know.
nothing.
That's the thing y'all don't understand. You know what's y'all? It's like y'all
I'm
y'all
not
try to
judging you.
outthink brothers, and
He
brothers
ain't
already
divorced
know.
yet. He ain't divorced yet.
Oh my! I'm about to throw my phone out this. Man.
I'm not saying
Oh
nothing.
my God! Are you
I thought I might say
serious?
something. I ain't judging you. I ain't judging you because
I'm
kind of.
serious. I'm so serious.
Oh, you better.
I'm so serious. I ain't even gonna tell you the
You
other
done shut
part.
down. You done shut the whole live down.
I'm
What he
not
got?
even gonna tell you the other
Let me
part.
guess. What? He got a baby on the way.
No. No. I'm not
Might
gonna
as
tell you
well. He's
the
still
other
married.
part.
You gonna
So
tell me right?
let me ask you
China's
this:
still
what
low?
happened if he changed his mind?
Change his mind about what?
Oh, you know, oh my goodness, he's still
Oh,
married.
about the no. It's so
Wow.
the biggest
So
part for
hold
me.
on,
No, the
hold
biggest.
on.
I
Oh my
look.
God.
This is going to set me back. But I'm gonna just tell you the whole scope of it. I did not know this. I found this out. What was it? Winter time. I just found this out this winter.
Hold on. You sound like me when I was younger. Hold on. You didn't know he was married?
I didn't. Nope.
And
I
he
didn't.
so hold on. If
You want to know how I found out?
you was nosy.
Gotta bring the weed. I got a story to tell. No, he.
Oh, she made a Biggie reference. I'm done.
Better.
He brought he gave me his damn taxes to do his fucking taxes.
So you left your man for dealing with another woman.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
But you didn't leave this man for being married.
I did. I stopped talking to him.
Y'all hear? That sound like a little girl. That sound like a little girl that just said that. I did.
I literally.
Yo, that's crazy. You had a whole man that did everything. So they weren't dealing. You think a man that didn't tell you that he was married wasn't doing nothing with that lady?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Brothers, do y'all believe that?
No.
Not at all. You know you don't believe that.
I think it was some. Isn't she in another country?
Yes.
Mm.
But it was a military thing. It was a military thing for benefits. And then she went to Germany, and then she got stationed in Japan, and they just never did what the heck they needed to do. And
why is that? Why do you think that is? Honestly, hold on. Out of all these brothers, out of all our experiences, it's something still being held on to.
No, I don't think that's it. I think he had to actually figure out how to get in contact with this person to do these things. I don't think it was anything other than not doing paperwork, because at this point he wasn't getting no benefits from it. He wasn't really like you. It's not even serving you at this point. So you should have got it situated. And
so you don't think if I want to get, and I'm just asking you these questions too. I'm not trying to be in. So I think by my intent. If he was planning on moving forward fast, I ain't gonna say fast, but he knows he found a woman he could possibly get married to. You don't think that had already been done? That was like me, I'm a man. Brothers on the panel are men. When we're done, we're gonna make sure it's complete, like it's done.
Yeah, it's clean.
It ain't no we still, and her too. A woman too. More than you already know. When you done. You're not married. You're not married anymore.
But she gets more money for having a dependent.
No, I'm not. When a woman's done, you just got all that stuff from your man, and you was done with him because he's dealing with another woman. Think about what you just said. You already had those resources. You had a commitment.
I get what you're saying. These people are different. They are different. But no, I don't think they have anything going on at all like that. He's done had. This is so old. He had all his kids after that. Like, they don't have anything to do each other. It's something that he never did and never got done.
Hold on, he had children with her or children with someone else?
No, with children with someone else.
Oh my God! I'm about to throw the whole.
No,
yo, it's getting worse. Stop telling the story. Your story is getting horrible right now.
No,
you say he been married and he had kids. You say kids, a plural, one, or you just saying kids? How many you say?
No, he has 3.
Oh my
four.
God!
Technically 4. Yo, he has one angel baby. He has
my
4.
brothers
by her.
Huh?
No, he said
by that way. Not by her.
No, not by the one. The person that he married.
Okay.
Was supposedly for benefits.
So he has no kids with her, right?
No, none.
And he has 4 kids after her, but was planning to get divorced.
No, I don't think he ever planned on doing what the heck he was supposed to do.
That's what I told you.
Until
that sounds very
we
irresponsible to me.
I agree. I agree.
4
I'm
kids
not
and still married.
I am not disagreeing with you at all.
How many kids? You better not say 0. How many kids does your first husband have?
Our 2. Oh, he just had a baby.
He just had a baby.
He had just had another baby. Yeah. Our 2 was his 2.
Oh my God, man. Brothers, are y'all listening to this? Are y'all listening to this?
So look,
no. You know what? It's like y'all do things out of spite to get over somebody as bad as possible. You don't talk to him anymore. You cut him out of your life. And he just having his first baby after you. And this other brother had 4 babies while he's married, and he's serious about you.
The only reason that I would
come on, sister.
agree that
he's serious
about me is because
why you don't talk to your ex-husband?
It wasn't my husband.
Okay, he wasn't your husband. Okay, why you don't talk to him?
Because
I'm still hurt.
We can't beat up on my shyness here. We can't beat up on her.
We have a lot of differences, and when I say differences, he has done some things that to me are things that you cannot apologize for, and he wants a certain level of friendship that I cannot give him, and I don't think I ever will be able to give him.
The only way that's possible is
if you're friends with benefits.
No, not even friends with benefits. No, he feels like, you know, regardless of anything, we closer than that. Like, we should be better than this. I should have a certain level of access to you as my kid's mother. Meaning he should be able to call my phone. He should be able to talk to me, joke around with me, etc.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You remember I do this too.
Why doesn't he have this access to me? Why did I turn down his
that's not what I was
therapy
going
session?
No. Hold on. I ask these questions because I really care about our women's mindsets and our brothers' mindsets, and I want you to look at your decisions as well too. Why did you tell us that you wish you would have done the therapy session?
Because I feel like that would have helped us understand each other. And let's be clear, his therapy was court ordered.
No. I want my sister. Why would you?
No, look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real quick.
Okay.
This therapy was less than 6 months after the incident. The incident was I had a loaded fucking gun pulled to my head. I can't be your friend after that.
Oh, okay.
I can't. And no, there was no domestic violence all throughout a relationship. No,
but he did that. He did that all
at the end. At the end, when I decided to leave.
Okay, he wanted you to stay with him, and he went crazy.
Yes. So after
and you can
that,
never get past that. I understand.
I
now
is it? I don't even want to say I can't get past it.
But is it you can't get past it because of someone you love tremendously that did that, and it's hard to ever get back over that? You love them so much, and you can't believe he did that, or you can't. You know what makes you, or the fact that it seems like when someone goes that far, it could be, especially if you love someone a lot. I can understand why you can't come back from something like that.
No return. Now, but here's the thing. I feel like I personally, I feel like I have given you enough because that alone was enough for me to take your kids from you and have file for sole custody and do all the shebang.
And you
never did that.
Did he?
Would.
Did he ever try to go? Did he ever give you back that energy of apology? Is that why you want? Like, did he ever try to make right by it?
I think when I turned down his therapy, I think I hurt his ego, and I think that's what he was headed for. And I think that's why our I guess our communication or our relationship or lack thereof is so tumultuous, because I think there's two truly hurt people.
But he never put away his pride. Let me ask you this: if he would have put away his pride, if he would have came to you as a man, if he would have went as all out as he could, like really show, like I'm sorry, I'll do everything in my power to get you back in my life and be in your life and my kids' life. Would you have tucked him back? I mean, I'm talking about, I feel like when you love somebody, just like me, I would have tucked
So
certain
he's
people
done.
back.
He's done that, and
Mhm.
I allowed him to have that space with his children. Because
Mhm.
remember, I moved 4 hours away from him.
Mhm.
So once he did these things, you can never have me back. You can never have me back in that capacity. However, your one mistake as a man doesn't mean that you can no longer be a father. So
Mhm.
yes, I do believe that you have done the work. I do believe that you went to therapy. I know you went to therapy because you had to. You had no choice to. I do believe it was a mistake. I don't believe that you would ever be a dangerous person to your kids.
Mhm.
But I don't, the fact that someone leaving you can take you that far is something I don't want to be a part of.
Right.
That's just something I don't want to be a part of. But at the same time, I won't say that, that mistake deems him as a bad person or a bad father, because
Right.
he's not. He's excellent with my kids.
Right.
See, I can understand your part, Shauna. See, just a little quick little thing could ended up some fatal
Right.
Right.
when you play like that. So that's
Play
that's
shit.
kind of
It wasn't for
scary.
play
That's
play.
scary. Yeah, it's kind of scary, and you shouldn't. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
that could have
mean,
went. That
Y'all
could
be
have went.
joking about my wolf
That could have went.
dog.
what you
Yo,
And
say?
for a
what?
Yo, what?
reason.
Yo,
I
what?
say y'all be joking about my wolf dog. I have a
Oh,
French Mastiff,
oh, your dog.
148-pound dog. Y'all think
He, what makes you? What do you think makes women of your caliber be able to talk to men and exchange, information like this with men versus women who, when they discuss and have conversations like this, go straight to, men bash women, men hate women. What makes you stay in a space where you acknowledge the brother's intent that's on the panel?
I guess the main thing would be for me is because I've had good men in my life.
Right.
I
I'm
also
happy you said
believe
that.
that I
Mm,
have my
mm,
grandfather. One of the main things too, and why I do believe in being redeemed from mistakes. My grandfather was like the most strung out you can be. When my mother and my aunt was growing up, just super strung out. Um, when he got clean, that turned into him being an alcoholic. When he got clean that turned into him being the best grandfather ever. Um, I mean, I told my like I don't know why this happens with a lot of kids. Girls, I'll say, like, when girls have their cycle or something, they like think it's something like, not think it's something big, because yeah, it is big, but it's like this big secret. Sometimes you don't want to tell your parents, sometimes you don't want to tell your mother. I told my grandfather, I was like, "Psst, psst, I need help."
you, you
And
was tight
my
with him like that.
grandfather,
You was tight with
yeah,
him
my
like, hey
grandfather was
man,
like,
it's
"Oh my
time.
God, no,
Uh,
wait, what the fuck? Oh no,
uh,
where's your mother?" Like, I didn't sign up
I
for
ain't
this
messing
shit.
with that.
Right. I ain't signed up for this shit. We cool, but we ain't that cool.
Right.
But no, and just his redemption. And my mother was also grateful for that, knowing that, she was raised by her grandparents because her parents were so strung out. And that, by the time her girls were old enough to recognize this grandfather that they had was completely a completely turned around man. And, my grandfather and my mother were super close. Um, and my grandfather, he, just like I said, he was an excellent grandfather. He showed up as a grandfather. He showed up as a father. If I didn't know their history, I would have never known.
That's so
So
many
I do
people's story.
believe that people make mistakes and people can change from that. So I
I
don't
do too.
think you are your mistakes. It just depends on how you carry yourself thereafter.
Right. And if you can forgive, I know there's a lot of people who had that story with the father that was a certain way, but the second phase of his life was amazing grandfather,
Right.
or even if they were not the greatest father initially, the second phase, they were great fathers. But I know there's a lot of, children or a lot of adults that I met encounter in my life that could never forgive and get over it. And it kept the family from moving progress and past that part, even when their parents or the grandparents got past that, they couldn't let go of it. And I think that's where the hate comes from. It's like, it's too much to some people's barriers and some people's boundaries and some people's some people, you know, their capacity to take pain is a whole different threshold versus other people's capacity. And I think the average person can't take that kind of pain. Maybe pain you took in your life too, and things you went through. Like, and I would, when I speak to people, like when I speak to a sister to you and brothers like the brothers on the panel, I feel like when I connect to individuals like that and I come across people like that, those are the brothers that went through a great deal of certain difficulty and still was able to maintain your manhood and womanhood, you know, and could still speak on it in this capacity without going at people, blaming people.
It's all about not having that malice in your heart.
Right.
You still got that malice and that ill content
It's
in your
over.
heart.
Right.
It's hard to leave people. And
right.
you can wear that mask for so long, but sooner or later, as you get challenged more and over, it's going to peel off.
Yep.
So that's what I try to tell homegirl, like, you don't really want this, whatever. But
nah, you don't want to carry that.
And my brother said that, and he said, my brother Carlos, he didn't he said it's stressful when you have a lot of people coming at you for your position. He said with Kevin Samuels, after a while it had to be stressful, but his intent wasn't to divide people, it was
Definitely
to bring
not.
people together. But when you come off with this facade, this narcissistic, braggadocious facade, like I'm undefeated, I done beat these dudes ass and all that, whoop these dudes.
Right.
Sooner or later, you're gonna keep on knocking at somebody's door, and somebody gonna answer. Because like I said, I didn't come to challenge you.
Right.
Those women need therapy.
Those women will, though. The women will see it. There's something that I know about women's intuition. A lot of women that I dealt with in my life, especially if they encountered a toxic mother, they realized in another phase of their life that it was their mother and not their father. So these are grown women. These are grown women. These are not little girls. These are grown women. As soon as they see her methods or her methodology and how she's moving in the capacity, and it might take a year, 2 years, 3 years, and their life are still in the same predicament they were in, and they see what they're holding, and they get to see her moving in the way, the capacity she's moving, especially with people. You know what's crazy? Most of the people that's coming to her are brothers that coming with kindness and respect. They're not coming with hate. They're not coming with revenge. They're not coming out of spite. They're not coming to be what she's saying. She's making them that. She's by
insisting on being
manipulating the narrative. Yeah, but even if they don't respond that way, she's creating a narrative to where you respond a certain way. You know what? A young lady thanked me today about the way I handled even the show and the way she said, I don't even know how you did it. My brothers, other men were like, man, I've never seen you let someone talk. And I said, y'all don't know my whole life, and you don't know even what I went through in my career. When you show a certain, they have to be able to see someone, a man that's standing grounded and calm in the vicinity of things like that. But they also, even if they see another man, she said, I would have understood if you responded another way, they could have seen that as well too. But as women keep watching and seeing that people are coming to support her and help her heal, if that were, and I ain't gonna say heal because I don't even like heal no more, become an adult and have accountability and be responsible and understand what she went through. There's no way with her intelligence she won't see it, but all the other sisters will see it because it only took three women saw it, then 10 start going, man, you know what? There's some good brothers coming here trying to talk to us, you know? There's no way she can prolong it, or at least people fall on her, because I saw it happen to other women before where they carried out what seemed almost cultish, and that coat falls apart.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, definitely seem like a cult because the way they go in, and that's what she rely on, the people in the chat, whatever, and that's why
I was just about to say, did you
bring your ass on this platform.
Afterwards?
Yeah, right. They was calling in, and I'm like, really?
And I just couldn't help but to think, like, girl, you sitting and laying in your bed alone, and you
yeah, she not telling the story. Don't nobody want to lay in their bed alone. Unless like I say, our nature, we want to be alone, but we don't want to be by ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
That's a man nature. We want to be alone, but we don't want to be by ourselves. You can't try to outman us because we already don't want to be around you that much in nature. It ain't like we don't love you. A man who's working on his legacy, the foundation of his family, we are working on expanding our legacy, you know, for our family. So you have an inheritance. You're taken care of for life. It's no way that you can expect the man who's really devoted to his family to just be up under you all day long, you know?
Now, Yeah, now y'all know what's gonna happen with this. She's gonna sit up here. She's gonna while she's driving. She's gonna watch this entire thing, and she's gonna say, "You see them brothers trying to manipulate that sister, whatever. Like how they tried to trick her into believing this or that. We don't
I
do
told
that
y'all
shit
I was
over
gonna be
here."
a pick. I'm gonna be a pick me by the end of this show.
She was like, that's their listen. Look, watch what he does. That's a tactic. Look what he does. Look what he's doing with these eyes. It's a so one day I'm telling you, she's gonna be like, listen, ladies, he's telling me not to drink this poison. That's one of the tactics, not to drink this poison. You know, when you drink, and she just fall out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, brothers are telling the women, we're coming there to drop the jewels, to drop the insight on what to look for from brothers. We'll tell you everything. If he's coming a certain type of way, is strongly dictated by your behaviors. Brothers now in the culture of our society today, most brothers you meet are just going to come for sex because that's what they're used to. A lot of our sisters being a certain way, because if they can't get sex, they go, wow, this might be a good woman. Let me ask Roger about her. Let me ask Michael about her. Hey man, have you hit that? Man, I ain't never got that, man. Like, you gotta really work. You really gotta work for that. I'm gonna ask some other brothers, man. Yeah, man, I ain't never touched that. You know what? I might be able to make this my wife. That's how men work, you know?
Let me read what my brother said. He said, interesting you said that, Brother Ali. She put some brother on blast on her page, her latest post, for giving her accolades. She used him as an example to bash men.
She did, man. I saw that. She said that I can't remember exactly what she said. But it's like he gave you respect, and she's like, "That's when they tactics again." Something. Let me see if I can find.
She got 40 men. She got 40 type of men that she could point out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. I know I saw it. Hold on. I know I saw it somewhere.
I'm just about to have fun with her from here on out.
That's all she's good for, man. Like I said, she's driving a clown car. She got a bunch of them in there with her.
Yeah. She said, so this guy came and said, good evening. I apologize for reaching out at such a late hour, but I had to. Just stumbled into your latest live stream on YouTube where you were talking to Genuine's cousin. You know, they keep calling me Genuine's cousin. Oh, y'all think it's funny, right?
Oh,
the only time I drink a 40 is when I want to drink a 40.
Oh my.
She said, I appreciate what, and I think this dude was kind of, remember we talked about brothers, about dudes that come on there to simp and to be a certain type of way. He really think I'm Genuine's cousin though, because he kept, so he was like, Genuine's cousin was a poor representation for us men, and it seemed like his ego spoke more than he did during the conversation. The good thing about real men is that we learn from a poor example on what not to do and how not to act and perceive the world. You did a great job also keeping your composure. Can't say the same for the grown man who should have kept his cool. You exhibiting more masculine traits that he was, to be honest. Planning on checking out your page a little more to see where you're coming from perception wise, but so far I'm entertained and impressed. Thank you for your time and good evening, which means I'm trying to get some booty. And she put, I keep telling y'all, all men who approach me claim to be real men. Who in the F is average at best? She's pointing at the dude saying who the F is at average at best and below them, because based on standard deviation, 84% of the population is average and below. So she was clowning him, saying he ain't even her type,
Yeah.
But he was simping.
Yeah. And remember she asked the question, Dave, what man does something for a woman for nothing? There you go.
Yep.
And that's her whole
what I think
premise.
it's the opposite too. What woman does something
I say that all
the
time.
For nothing.
I say that all the time. A woman is not going to do something for nothing.
We're not saying that women do not.
Right.
She's saying that men do.
Yep.
Yeah, and she don't want to speak on women, whatever, because that's deflecting, whatever. Right. So she wants to hold everything. She wants to control everything.
Yeah, she controls what he's saying. Yeah, that's what she did.
When they was trying to put you, Ali, you was quiet for like the first 40 minutes without saying much.
I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, and she was just reading, going through her book, and I'm like, damn, could he talk? Then once you start talking, whatever, all of a sudden, cutting her off, cutting you off and all that, but. Her minions, whatever, was thinking like, "Oh, he's unraveling. He's losing it now."
Right. He's trying to talk over you. I said, Like it's
Oh my gosh.
crazy. But she broke all her rules. She wasn't
Yeah,
civil and
yeah.
respectful. She deflected and didn't stay on topic. And the third one, what was her third rule? Her third rule was I forgot her third rule. I know one was being civil and respectful. One was to stay on topic. But I forgot what the third
Was it
rule.
not to talk about women?
Oh, no. It was not. Thank you for saying that, sister. That's telekinesis. She said not to talk about the person's character and to stay on topic. You weren't supposed to. Don't go at the person, go at the topic. And she did every single one of those things throughout the whole discussion. It wasn't no live discussion. I told her I didn't come back to combat her. But every time, that's what look, when she left off the camera. And it was an awkward pause, which I ain't gonna talk about that either. I know y'all saw it. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yeah, I saw it.
No, nobody wanted to talk about that. That's a whole deeper situation. But
Yeah.
Where she left her? I need to see this. I'm gonna go
man,
watch it.
listen. The fact I'm telling you is deep. That's how the difference between men and women, because we would have had DSS called on us and we would have been reported right away on the whole video. Period. We would. I'm telling you, honest to God, truth. But that situation right there, right away would have been ended. But I didn't say nothing. I haven't said nothing about it. But as soon as
I know what you're talking about.
You know that, and you heard it and everything. Yeah. So once that happened,
I'm a mandated reporter. So what's going on?
Listen, hey, he saw it. I saw it, and he saw it. She couldn't even finish her sentence, and what happened too? She couldn't even finish the sentence. But when she left, I didn't want to keep an awkward silence for, like right now, like I want to keep an awkward silence for the people who are viewing. So I just wanted to keep talking so it didn't make her platform look a certain type of way. They went, look at his tactics. He tried to manipulate y'all and try to get y'all on his side while I was gone. That's what that's all. Where did I come? I wasn't even like that. You know, that's not my, I try to operate in the capacity of, that is my genuine, intention is to bring us all together, and for women to, like my brother said up there, allow men to tell the truth, and women accept the truth. They know the truth, accept it, and then our relationships are going to flourish once everybody tells the truth, But a man is not going to do something for nothing based off of a relationship. He'll do something for nothing for sex, but he's not going to do something for nothing with a marriage. And same thing, with a woman. She can't do something for nothing when it comes to really being in a relationship with somebody. But she can take your money. She can let you pay, give her gifts. She can take advantage of you on a good time and still not be with you. She can do something for nothing that strokes her ego. We know that, you know that, you let a brother take you out before and you weren't going to do nothing with him?
No. Absolutely not.
But a lot of sisters do.
Yeah.
So, but in that same capacity, when she started even bringing up, Maslow's everything, she just went philosophical. And when she goes to start talking about definitions and stuff, and you can say the same thing she says, and she's like, nope, that's not what it is. I was like, what? I just said the same thing you said when you said it back to me. Nothing you can say is right is if you're a man. But all her reference points she uses and all her doctrines and philosophy are from men.
Yeah, but she wouldn't answer my question either. I mean, but she didn't address me like she addressed y'all though. So.
But she respected. There's one brother in particular she's dealing with. I don't know if they have a different relationship or had prior relationship or were friends or grew up together. She treats one brother with a great deal of respect, and he doesn't say something. See, the things I can't respect, like when I saw what happened to my brother right there, I'm not just going to go in her good grace and be all smiling and cheesing and everything like that. I'm still going to ask questions. I'm going to address the fact that she's saying that family doesn't matter anymore. She said that sisters and women can take care of kids. They don't need men. She said she said she's going to put her kid in martial arts and some other kind of things where men are involved.
I was asking her on the page.
Huh?
And that's what I asked her today on the page. So if that's the case, then how do we move forward? You don't feel that a man is important?
Imagine
she said she was going to put her daughter in martial arts.
With men. It's going to have to be men. Anything's going to be men involved. But instead of letting him be around her father or grandfathers or people that's supposed to be in their life, you're saying you're going to put him in martial arts. It's insanity. Like none of us on the panel would ever say that nobody needs their mother and you can live without your mother. But we have a generation of society that teaches women they don't need to be with men or need a father. You know,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if things are not balanced, whatever, I don't care what it is, you're
Right.
headed
You
for
need
self
that.
destruction, whatever. You got to have balance, and that's the approach that I was coming at her. Like, well, tell me about what this doctrine of this editorial, whatever you was reading. What did it say about women? And
Right.
that's where she lost it. She
Right.
lost it from that point. That was probably like 2-3 minutes into it. But
Right.
suddenly I didn't know what testosterone mean. I didn't know what love mean. Yeah.
Like you don't know what that it's
Yeah,
crazy.
and she wrote out she wrote that out, and that's how she went off to victory after that. Because after anything else, I said, even when she was talking about empathy, I was like, that's based on environment. No, that's about the brain, whatever. Come on, when you're dealing with the brain, you talk about cognition, you're talking about thoughts, feelings, and actions, whatever, all of that stuff.
I don't. Yeah, that's just so. It's just so weird because even then, I just don't understand how she feels that a girl or boy, because I believe it's the same for both girl and boy, that both girl and boy need their fathers. How do you feel that that's and I'm not saying that a woman can't physically raise a child by herself. We see women do it all the time, but to me, I just can't imagine. And y'all have heard on this show, I know my father about tired of me. I know he ready for me to get married. He probably out there looking, scouting, because I know I'm on his nerve.
But you
But
know,
I just
you know what, Shaughnessy, she depicts where she takes word need, and I seen her on one thing said you need water. A human being can last 3 days without water. You need oxygen. So do you really need a man? Are you gonna die without a man? And that's where she trying to come from. It's not like, come on
Well,
now, like,
she's using so that's where Maslow's hierarchy of needs has already been refuted. It's not saying the entirety of the chart is refuted. It's saying those things are the capacity are things you need, but you can't get water and all those things without a baby doesn't come in this world by itself. It needs the adults to nourish it. It needs love first. It needs affection first. And that's what I was talking about that study about babies will die if they don't get love. They don't want to eat. Just like us. We've all of us have had our heart broken. We don't want to eat. We don't want to sleep. We don't do all these things. She's not addressing the flaw that you need human interaction for all those needs to be met.
Yeah. So she's only giving half
She's
of
giving
what
half.
it is instead of following
Purposely.
up with everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
you like one of them key pastors.
Would you say one of the what?
One of them pastors.
One of them jinky pastors.
Yeah,
interpretation.
Stay tuned. She's gonna have a ball with this. I tell you what, when I get up tomorrow and I get into work and I look, she gonna tear this up.
Yeah, probably. It don't bother me.
Yeah,
it don't bother me at all.
Thing. And I probably don't even entertain them no more because I was trying to lure one of them to come. They coward asses to come on here, especially the guys that was there, but nobody showed up. So, and if I had the time to like make all these videos and say, guess what? Nobody came from your camp. But it's all about.
But I just wonder what she's doing. If it doesn't. I don't know. I just can't imagine
validation.
I already told you. Yep, that's the
needs to be
core.
Validated.
Men, we do have a way of men validate everything. Honestly, like men, we queen you, or we put you in another position, but we validate. We hold you to that. Oh, you a good woman? Show me you a good woman. Oh, you're this way. Show me you're that way. The main thing she's doing is trying to outman a man. She's in her extreme masculine energy to outcompete a man, so that will never, whatever happened to her will never happen again. She never wants that to happen again. But she's making.
Have you through? And I haven't listened to them, but I just scrolled through her TikToks, and for her to be, and I'm not saying that because you're at work every day, or because you are in a certain field, you have to be made up, or you can't look made up. But to me, she tries to appear attractive every single day on every single TikTok, and she is on the road in a male-dominated field Who the
Right.
hell are you dressing up and putting contacts and changing up wigs and putting on makeup for?
Right.
Who are you
Yep.
doing it for?
So I broke down that so many different times. I finally, this is what I do the same thing she does, but I'm really coming up with it. I don't go read a book for it. So once women know that they're validated by men, but want to keep from saying they validated by men, they got to do all the things that we do, right? Or they don't do the things we do. They start doing things that they start competing with men. They compete with men who try to act like women now. So you see women who look kind of like trans now. They don't just be their natural form. So when you ask a woman, you go, why are you doing that? Just like you ask, she'll go, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for myself, right? They still are looking for validation from men. They just don't want to show him appreciation and value for the validation. She don't have to
Right.
reciprocate. So most of these women who are on OnlyFans, most of these women that IG models, Facebook models, most of these women that's in strip clubs, most of these women that are prostituting, most of the women who become all of them, most, all of them are women who want to be wives. Everything is validation from man. That's how God kept this world humble and women humble. Women get all the provisions and privileges, but you have to be validated by a man. You go and get checked. You go and get your card pulled. Are you really the woman you say you are? But when you go as far as say you don't need men for that anymore, you don't value, you're not doing it for us, but you are. You're doing it for attention, but you don't do it you don't do it because you value us or you respect us.
So I'm gonna read Carlos' comment. He said, "What was the situation with bro Polite that she keeps referencing? I didn't see the entire show with
Okay.
Brother Ali."
So she did the same thing she did to you when she asked you about testosterone. She was looking for a weakness, a kink in your arm but she was already gonna find what she's looking for. That debate that I posted was about homosexuality. The guy that he was debating was saying that homosexuality, there should be a place in homosexuality in the Black community. So to kind of insult him or to emasculate him and to show his compromise of his community, he said, you know why Black, he like this. If I go, you know why a woman want to be a hoe? It's because life is too hard. So if a woman's calling a woman a hoe, so when he was talking about homosexuality, he's like, you know why brothers are homosexuals? Because life is too effing hard. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said he said that to basically insult the brother and saying the brother became homosexual because life was too hard for him. He was saying it passive aggressive. He was saying life is too hard for him. He wasn't excusing a Black man for being gay. Me and you, any brother, do the brothers on this panel justify any brothers for being gay, giving up their manhood, not being established, or not taking care of their families?
No, we might identify like life being hard, but that ain't gonna stop us from doing what we gotta do.
We're gonna identify. We know our life is hard, but there's no excuse. He said it because he gave up his manhood, and I told her that, and she wanted to control the narrative for something to go off of. I didn't say that. Brothers don't talk. We do this for a platform. We don't get together and go, hey brother, man, life is so hard. You know what I'm saying? and start crying. We already went through our man check. We went through the man code. We have no choice. That's how the brothers on this panel is. We have no choice but to take care of our responsibilities.
Yeah. So definitely. Herb ordering some pizza.
Some chicken wings.
Yeah, you called it. But my brother Carlos said she did say she read Pimp by Iceberg Slim. This book is the man's manipulation manual, LOL. So yeah, she says that she doesn't talk to man, doesn't listen to man, but all her references are man. So
Our man.
right there, debunk everything you say.
Reference is man. That's how I already debunk. See, I was already going to break down. I love psychology. I love seeing where someone's coming from. I help people for 15 years just in my field, but I help people outside of my career. This is me genuinely. This is what kind of family I came out of, So if that's her intent to help these women, why is she teaching women to hate men and using the lowest frequency of men and nature to exclude all men? And then she'll go, I didn't say all men. Did you see what no, you have men on the show that that you discredit and devalue and disrespect that are on your show. It is all men.
Yeah. And
Unless
nobody
they
came
enable
for
you.
that point. Nobody came to disrespect your
Yep.
thing.
Unless they enable her, enable her and support her, and she benefits from it, she's not gonna say nothing bad about. I'm telling you, there's a guy that came on there. She didn't disrespect him at all. Let him talk. Had a solid conversation with him. But everybody else, she goes sideways.
He agreed with her point.
It was an agreeable conversation. You can see he agreed. They were just agreeing with each other. But I'm not gonna say that all the way, because there was times he did ask her certain questions, but for some odd reason she answered them in the way she answered them, and she wasn't trying. He didn't go too agreeable. I'm not gonna take away from the brother, and he was asking some legit questions, but he didn't ask it to the totality of it to make her go get triggered. You know, it was like safe questions in the way he did it. He did it. I'm gonna say he was trying to be a solid brother without making her take anything away from it. And maybe his art of doing
He probably
it is
a damn
much better than a lot of other
psychiatrist. He
Right.
probably was a psychiatrist. He probably does this.
He knew what words to stay away from. I knew what words to stay away from too, but my point in coming on the show wasn't to be completely safe. You know, I wanted to ask her questions to really challenge her philosophy in the capacity of helping women, children, and men. You know, that's a serious topic.
Yeah, and her thing is it's just funny. She's just funny. Like no matter what or angle you come at, she just gonna find a way to
say you're wrong.
To disagree and to say you're wrong. Like yourself, you was coming in there like, okay, I just want to know more answers. And her main thing is, I don't talk to men. I don't listen to men.
She told me she don't want the men to know.
While she's talking to me.
But and then again, like the day after my thing, she just made post after post. So I happened to go on her see on her page, and then but yet she can't stay out the counselor's corner. Like she didn't went as far as like digging up, like, oh, I was just trolling this morning. I was bored, so I found this picture again. I mentioned that earlier about me at the Wax Museum hugging the Beyonce thing. Everybody knows.
You might as well go ahead and take her out on a date.
Yeah. She another girl tagged her on my post, and the girl knew exactly when she did that. That's where it was going to go. She can't refute once you put other philosophers or people who use philosophy too and think and really think and create philosophy. Man, I have masters of theories in my other phone. I have masters of theories. This is stuff I really care about. I write theories. Then you're going in another realm, you know, because people are challenged that and study the entirety of it. So there's things already refuted about her that we're not even focusing on the things she's talking about, because it serves no purpose other than trying to break it down for her to understand it, because the way she's using it. Now she's using it to genuinely, and we get the energy that she's genuinely using it to truly break down the behaviors of men, women, and children to get a better outcome. We understand that, but that's not what she's doing. But even though she did it, person like me, I got to go look at some stats. I got to go pull up some information. I got to go research. And everything that she's using, it can easily be refuted. And everything she's doing is contradictory to what she's saying she's against. Everything she uses from a man.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is outdated, and it doesn't hold place now. Like I said, with the empathy and all of that stuff, like men don't have any empathy. That's some bullshit. Like that's like I said earlier in the show, that's stuff that's kind of taught. You learn to be empathetic. You learn empathetic listening skills or whatever the case is. And that ain't just no gender thing. That's women too. Like sometimes people just don't listen. They like to talk, or they like to listen to reply instead of listening to understand whatever. So that's not a gender-based thing. Some men are good at that, and they have to teach women, listen, stop talking, take your time, listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
The class that I am in now is literally and solely based on empathy in the nursing process. Like literally, that's the class, and we all are licensed nurses, and they're still digging into that.
We are different in regards to being agreeable or not agreeable, though. You know, men don't accept men. You have to prove it with men. We don't agree. You have to show me why I should agree. With women, they will take the easiest route. They don't want friction. They don't want to make a decision that causes conflict. They don't want to go through those things. You know, they struggle with that thing. And not because they're feel inferior or they're afraid, it's because they want everybody to get along. That's a woman's nature. You know, they want everybody to get their way. They want people to be happy. Women don't want to hurt somebody. A man, hey man, you gaining some weight, you know. Hey, you ain't doing son, you on the show, you can't sing too good, son. You need to work on your voice. You know, we gonna tell you ran that route wrong. You know what? You might not need to be playing football. You know, we gonna say that unless it comes to our women though. You know, when our women ask us questions, we be like, you know what? You the only one. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with what you got on. And that food was good. Tell your mama that food was good. You know,
and that's true. And a lot of times I speak on that. A lot of times people don't have true friends. They're not able to say what they're saying. Where I grew up, we took shots or whatever. If you ain't having something there, say, what the fuck you got on, or why you stuff like that, or why did you do that? But now we live in a sensitive world that people are not willing to say anything because they know, like, oh, this gonna end up. So they just try to save face and know that it's gonna end up in something they don't want to get into. But some people, like you said,
and
like, you gonna say what you're gonna say.
We need to hold each other accountable, and that's the problem. We lack accountability. Nobody wants to say anything.
Both sides. Yep.
Exactly. Yes, I agree. Both sides. Nobody wants to hold anybody accountable.
Yep. And if they do, Monday you holding everybody accountable. Next Monday you switching sides. So there's people that will hold people accountable, but then they'll be an opportunist next Monday because they're benefiting from the other side as well too. Instead of staying consistent and simultaneously even if you're not perfect, at least you tell the truth, be responsible, and hold people accountable. You know.
Please move.
Because there's people playing both sides. There's a lot of people starting to play both sides. You know, they want to reap the benefit of doing good, and then they want to reap the benefit of taking advantage of a certain stature or a certain thing they can get from somebody, which is a whole nother story in itself as well too. Because our community is so divided. We cannot just get people to hold themselves accountable without switching. You know.
People tend to switch on based on the advantages they could get on what that person is doing, that you could be in favor with them. So they would change up. No, they can have loyalty to this person for 20 years, but if they can get some type of benefit from that person that they know, they switch in the game. If it could benefit them.
If a brother,
do you guys, to this point, you guys don't agree that that's why men are more successful in business?
Oh yeah, women have said women they did a study with women. Most of women agree men make better leaders because they can make those decisions. They don't mind hurting someone's feeling. They don't mind cutting. They don't mind doing being survival of the fittest. They're gonna get to the top. You know,
exactly.
They're gonna get to the top because they know someone else is gonna do it as well too. If we sit there and allow our family or ourselves or individuals to be compromised, we're gonna be at the bottom. You know, so we know it's survival of the fittest. We don't want it to be that way, but it's nature. It's in this control system we're living in now. I truly believe in a utopia and how civilizations and villages used to be. I think the man did their part, went out and got the food and resources and built civilizations, and the women took care of the home. The controlled environments we're living in is creating this capitalist mentality and this survival of the fittest mentality. You know.
So this is gonna be the last point I want to make about her. Like, even when she was talking about her points, and she was like, she worked at a car dealership, and she said the men were leaving work early, and she was selling all the cars, and they were leaving early so they could go get some pussy.
We need that data.
Yeah. And then I said, well, so she was basically trying to say leadership, like she works hard and all that stuff. I said, well, I work in the school
system. You ain't have nothing to go home to, girl.
Yeah, true indeed. Sleeping on her hands. And I said, well, I work in the school system, and a lot of times when it's a lot of women ran by women, it's total chaos.
Right.
It's total chaos. So I was trying to make that compare. What the fuck are you talking about? You just brought randomly about your car situation, your car job. So I'm telling you my profession and how sometimes women don't make the best leaders in the school system. she basically tried to rip that apart. And then the little minions like, oh yeah, what the hell he talking about? He ain't got nothing.
But I mean,
Like, that's
so
stupid.
to that point, I do think that's a debatable point, because I do feel in some situations that women can thrive in a space of leadership because of their ability to have empathy, because of their ability to, because I just had this situation with the owner of our company right now, especially because I'm in school. I'm leading a medical transport company, and he's like, oh, we don't operate on desperation. I'm not operating on desperation. I'm like, look, just watch. Just watch and see what empathy can do, because you're so busy on trying to go by the book and go by the rules and saying this is an occurrence, this is not a daycare center. But to me, if this lady is telling me she's one of my good workers, and she's telling me, look, I can't run on a truck today because I have my daughter, and I say, well, how old is she? Because me personally, I don't watch kids no more that I got to change Pampers. How old is she? She 4? Oh, bring her here. I'm going to bring my daughter to work on Tuesday. You don't have a babysitter on Tuesdays? Bet. On Tuesdays, Layla don't go to camp. You know why? Because on Tuesdays, we're going to be in this office together, because if I don't have you, then I can't run a truck. But if I do have you and I watch your daughter, then guess what? Now we have 10 runs.
Right.
Now that's money that we're bringing in. But now that he sees this, he's like, oh, wait, this does work. But his lack of empathy would have blocked that vision.
And that's true. And I can tell you, like, even sometimes, like I said, KYP, know your personnel. I had a parent, she came in last week, whatever, mad about her son having to transfer to my school. And she came in just mad, like, I got to go through all this. Then she came in today. And I had told her last week, you're going to meet with my secretary, but all she remembered was me because she was on vacation. And she came in, same facial expression, whatever. Then I was like, well, you got to meet with Miss. Well, I thought I had to meet with you. And I'm like, with a little smile, and like, why are you always mad? Smile. Right. You just always mad. You're just mad at the world. Then she broke a smile, whatever, and like, I'm not really mad. Then we started talking about her kid and everything was good. But sometimes it takes just kind of figuring that person out. It's saying a little something that kind of break the mold. And she was good from here on out. Like, you gonna be my son counselor? No, I'm not gonna be, but he could come see me, whatever. And anything you need, give me a call. So she's good now. She's good. But it just take that time, whatever. So to say, man, don't have no empathy or whatever the case is, because I could have been like, I'm the department chair of this, whatever. Like, what the hell ever. Your appointment was at 1 o'clock. You came at 2. So sign up again. You can't do it, but
I think all in all, I think we need each other. I don't think that this world can be ran by just men, and I don't think this world can be ran by just women. Like, there's going to have to be, there's so many times that I thought to make a decision just recently, especially with my kid's father. I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that. And I'm not, because I've been nice for long enough. And it was a man that said, whoa, think about it this way, because this is what he's thinking about. And if you think about it this way, and I'm like, dang, you know what? You're right. But just being led by me, that it would have been a catastrophe. It would have been more issue.
Right. And you know what else? There's a phenomenon that she doesn't discuss that happens with people as well too, is where people start taking on each other's energies or mannerisms, in which the masculine and feminine energy, which I agree with her, starts helping us in our life. So I'll make decisions because of having a mother, having a grandmother, and aunts in my life, that I'd make decisions based off of having empathy and interactions with them and how they handle situations. And then I'll make decisions based on having a man and a father and grandfathers and men that I came into my life situation as well too. So it's just like, my brother, am I allowed to read that comment, or do you read the comment?
You can read it too.
She said, very true. However, there are also women who are very blunt as well. I was raised by one, and I agree with her. What's funny, in a phenomenon of households, the woman starts taking on the role of the man, and the man starts becoming like the mannerisms of women, being the kind one, the loving one. Everybody runs to dad. Where mama start being like the rule layer, and
Right.
the man gives her the throne. Like he
And
knows
that was,
his wife
yep.
can sustain the house, and goes, and you come to daddy. I remember the first time I tried to, my dad said something. I ran to my mama. I was like, I can get my mama. I go, mama,
Mm-hmm.
can't? She said, nope. Go, what your daddy say? I ran back to dad. I said, Dad, can I? He said, what your mama say? I was like, oh, I already knew what it was. Mama ended up getting the throne, and he gave her the house.
Right.
She knew order, and now my mama was running the house. And then I knew my mom was boss. You better, if we made our mother mad, it was on. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing you want to do, is make the women in the house mad, because the king gonna come home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing, like I say with my grandparents, whatever. We would like sneak in there with my grandfather, like, Granddaddy, you got $5? You got $5? And he would always yell out to my grandmother, like, hey, Lily, they asking for me for $5. We're like, damn, man, why the hell
Right.
you got
Why
to
you
let her
tripping,
know
yeah?
whatever? Because then she would damn near cuss us out. But then an hour later, when you riding our bikes, come here, boy, here go this $5. Why you just didn't give it to me in the first place,
Right.
whatever?
Right.
But we wanted to sneak a tail Greg, because he was more like working and all that. Like if it was up to us, he just go in his pocket, give it to us.
Yeah.
But he always had to let her know everything was going down. So we like, shit, she runs shit, whatever.
Yeah.
But
and she takes care of him. All
yeah,
the things I see in my family, when the man's finally breaking down, went through all this toughness and struggle, taking care of a family, the mama takes care of the husband, and the husband becomes this soft, like gentle, kind. It's crazy phenomenon to see the man of your household that was so strong become this fragile, soft individual, and the woman becomes the rock and starts directing everything. In the older age, it's crazy phenomenon that happens. We don't talk about that, you know.
Mm-hmm. I sat there in on a conversation with my son and his father, and he was supposed to be getting in trouble. And instead of his father getting him in trouble, his father just basically told him not necessarily how to run game on me, but how to make it so he can get what he needs to get. He
Right.
like, look, all she asks you to do is do good in school.
Yep.
That's all you got to do, and then we don't even have to have a conversation. You don't have to run to me. You don't have to talk. Do exactly what she asks, how she say it.
Ain't that funny, y'all? That when we younger, that all you had to do, regardless of what your parents said, was just say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, and that's it. Whether you right or wrong, it's done. You go ahead and say something smart if you want to. You're gonna get knocked outside that window, and it's gonna be worse than what it was. All you have to do is say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, or yes, sir, no, sir. You knew if you did anything more than that, you was getting knocked out that window. You know.
See, I think I operate my house a little different in that aspect where I guess both of us too. We do allow our children, I wouldn't say talk back,
The
but
women.
I do allow,
The women allow it.
But
I
that's
do allow
the
That
my
generation.
man not
children,
being there.
I do allow my children to
Mm.
voice their opinion,
And
because I
that's the
do
classic.
agree that parents are not always correct.
Mm-mm.
And
That's the
sometimes
change
they
of generations, though.
Mm-mm.
It was never about being correct. It was about doing what you were told.
That's right. And all the men here were gonna tell you it's so many women that, because they know their kid, they seeing their kids develop, and they know that the capacity of them disciplining their father is different. They go, I let my kids voice. You're the mother. You already know what's going on. And
Right.
even if you wrong, you right. Even if you wrong, you right. Unless you're doing something so diabolic and dysfunctional, which you're not. They get to see that 9 out of 10 times mama is right. They don't question you. So if my mama, I can count on my hand how many times my parents was wrong about something. There was no reason to talk back. And my daddy definitely went, man, if I talk, man, it wasn't happening in the household. There was no talking back. There was no questioning, because we had solid adults that made decisions that was grown. You ain't got to voice nothing. They already know what's going on.
Right.
Let them kids voice. Man, we gonna come over sometimes too. Talking about, no, heck no.
the kids got to be able to voice their opinion, and because sometimes they have true, not sometimes, all the times I
Give
do
me an
believe
example.
that.
Give me one example. Give me one example
I would say something in school where, no, a situation where my son was on a bus.
Okay.
Um, he had gotten put off the bus along with this girl.
Okay.
And the story that came to me
Mhm.
was that him and this girl had a fight,
Mhm.
and I was livid. I was up that school less than 6 minutes. The assistant principal, her eyes was wide open, and she was like, "How did you get here so quick? Like, what in the world?" But in that moment, had I not heard my son out
Mhm.
and heard what he said, because this is before now they video camera and all of that other stuff,
Mhm.
all I'm hearing is that my son had a fight with the girl. And to me, that is unacceptable. You don't fight. It should have been no fight with the girl. If anything, it would have been a girl hitting you, but you had a fight with the girl. But if I didn't, and then in that moment, I think the lady told him not to use his phone. She was like, "No, don't use your phone. If you need to call your mother on a school phone." But he called me. He did. I don't want to say I wasn't there, but from her story, she walked away. I was on the phone, and he was saying, "Mom, I just called you because I don't understand why I'm getting in trouble and I'm getting kicked off the bus. Now you have to come from work, and then now you're going to be mad at me. But I just need you to know that I did not hit her. I did not hit that girl. What I did was she hit me and I grabbed her arm. It wasn't a fight. And when it came to, and I heard him, he did not get in trouble yet because I don't have proof. I do know my kid. I know that he shouldn't hit a child. But in that moment, if I didn't let him voice and say what he needed to say, there would have been no feeling or no, he wouldn't have an understanding of adult. What the principal was saying to him, I didn't want you to call your mother because we have this no phone policy. And what he was saying to the principal was, I didn't think you were against me. I just needed, basically my mother is my safe place. So I called my mother in this moment where I was so angry. I was so upset. And the principal explained to him, she was like, "Look, I understand. I get it. I understand. But I'm not against you." But in that moment, as a child, he doesn't know that. He just knows his safe space is the mother. So now all three of us can have the conversation. Now I told him, now you apologize to her because she told you not to use your phone. You got on your phone anyway. I do understand what you were saying, and she understood what he was saying. And now you're no longer in trouble. But had we not had that conversation and let him voice what he was saying and his feelings in that moment, it was just him being a disobedient child when that wasn't the case. I don't know you like this, lady. I know my mother. I know my mother's my safe place. I know my mother's going to protect me. So that was the person that I called in this moment of panic. But now I know you are for me. You're not against me. You just wanted to hear my story. But in this moment, we both got kicked off the bus and I'm in trouble. I need to call my safe space.
Okay. So I think that's definitely justifiable. I think we are talking about something that's happening amongst us in a household, like the adults, like something happened and they want to open their mouth and say what they feel about something. I think that's the difference. When the laws of the land have already been laid down. So that's
okay. I get what
we're
you're
talking
saying.
about. There's a law in the house,
I got
and
you.
that's the way that I took it. Because there's a lot of mamas that say that I want to hear my kid explain their anger and all that kind of stuff.
Case in point, we were taught to never open the door.
Yep.
When the parents aren't home. So if you wouldn't open the door, there was no explanation because you already, like you said, the rules have already been laid down.
Them laws already been laid down.
I don't care.
There's no explanation that you can give me that justifies you overriding the rules of the house.
Right.
That the child doesn't have a say so.
Valid.
Man, that's going down right there. But sister, you got to admit too, it's a different thing with the presence of a man in the household and just the presence of a woman in the household. Like all my dad had to do was look at us. Like I could hear my dad whisper. Like I could hear. If my dad wasn't at home, we already knew we can do a look. We would never deliberately disrespect my mom, but we know we can do it on.
Get away with a little more. I told y'all early on.
Because y'all agreeable. Because y'all want us to get our way. Y'all agreeable. We know we can do that with y'all. Right. When it's dad, if you even hit, man, I'm telling you. I remember the first time, man, goodness, man, he called our name. We acted like we was deaf. We weren't deaf after that. I'll tell you that.
Right.
We could hear my dad 5 blocks just whispering something like,
I mean,
and,
look,
and we
just
on
like
our way.
my kid's father is 4 hours away. I'm just like I feel like I've repeated myself one too many times
Mhm.
with my 11 and 6 year old. Call your father. Now everything's straight.
Yep,
No,
that's what I'm telling you. It's day, and then if we need somebody to care for us, we need somebody to enable us. We need someone just to be on our side. We call
Hmm.
them mama. Man, I'm sick, man. I need to go with my mama. Everybody serves their purpose, but it does impact the house with the absence of those energies.
Right.
Imagine a household where only the dad is raising the children and there's no mother, no nurturing, no love, no epitome of that energy in the household versus just that dad being there. So we don't
You don't
we
think a man is capable of, like, just in an instance where there's a single father, you don't think that a man is capable of that nurturing?
not in the capacity as a mother. No,
Yeah.
we accept that and respect that. That is not, there's nowhere close to
Yeah.
what our son could get from a mother.
Yeah.
He don't even see a woman. He barely sees a woman.
Can't
It's
argue
completely
that.
different.
And I don't think guys argue that.
We
Like
never
when
will
women
argue
say,
that.
"Oh, I could raise a
Heck
boy
no.
to be a man." I'm a man of admit. Like if it's a daughter, like I need some women. I need a woman
Right.
presence. I need
Right.
somebody to help me out with this, whatever. We're capable of saying that. Shit, this is a vulnerable situation. I need
Yep.
help.
He needs love. He needs to learn empathy. He needs to learn about kind of being patient with his decision making. He needs to know what he's working towards. He needs to see love amongst two adults. It
Right.
impact both ways. A father's a single parent with a father, a single parent with his mother. It's affecting the household regardless of what we wouldn't want to happen or not. There's deficiencies there, and it shows up in relationships.
Mhm.
And that's why the whole thing is about
Interesting.
balance. You can't leave an entire gender out for whatever the case is.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying we're gonna get ready to wrap this up, whatever. We could get some closing comments. And well, I'll let y'all go there and I'll close it out, whatever. Y'all closing comments. 'Cause I gotta go to it's getting down to the nitty-gritty in the school system. These little critters about to come back in a
Come
couple
back.
weeks. I don't know why this hottest summer went by this damn fast, but damn.
Man, it like summer wasn't even here.
Yeah, it just just flew by.
Well, they said, see, I told you I'm like her, man. I look. They said the earth is moving faster than it's ever moved right now. It's spinning faster than it's ever spin.
That shit.
Hey, I saw that.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shit. Because before it seemed like it would be dragging
And,
and all that, but
and,
this shit's
and
like
they said if you feel like the day's moving faster, it's because it is.
so we're gonna give out with our customary closing comments based on this conversation. Anything that stood out, and we're gonna get ready to close it out till next week.
My closing comment would just be I would love for Miss Princella Clark to come to have an open dialogue with both men and women to speak and just tell us the reasoning on her for people to not even debate but ask questions, because understanding is key, and I would love to understand where she is coming from.
And that's a fair thing because sooner or later, if you want to be big on that stature, you're gonna face the audience that they're gonna have questions. They're
Yep.
gonna have questions. You're gonna be questioned.
Yeah. And I like to end. If we genuinely care about the true upliftment, enrichment, and empowerment of all of us, the men, the women, children, and families, then the truth, if we truly want that, to do it with divine truth, with the masculinity, the femininity, with all those energies, even as she discussed, then you should want to be challenged. It has to be challenged. It always has to be challenged. The woman always makes sure she's challenging the man with constructive criticism and with love, and the man's challenging the woman, and we keep each other always on our toes, just like these discussions. Everything we discuss should be challenged. If it's the truth, then it's going to hold true, right? It should have a foundation, and you shouldn't be upset with someone questioning anything. We should be able to discuss it in a healthy manner that brings light and sheds light to something else. If it isn't the truth, we evolve from that, or it brings out the true foundation of what that is that we're trying to discuss. So in all these discussions, I hope that all of us have a common goal, as well as her, if she is listening, in bringing us to the truth and uniting our men, women, and children and families so that we don't keep repeating generation after generation of what they've done to us. We have to get each other together, or it's going to be bad in the next 5, 10 years, 20 years, where our grandparents aren't replaced, our uncles and aunts, and civilization isn't being replaced with genuine, solid men and women that's building families.
All right, appreciate that. Herb.
Man, I can't follow up with nothing else, man. Shoot, y'all thorough tonight, man. So shoot, the thing about the way people come across is however you present yourself, you're going to be received. And if upon discovery people receive you as a charlatan, don't be surprised when they treat you like one.
Yeah.
And of course, growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
All right. And for me, like I always say, it's all about balance, whatever. No certain gender can make it without the other. We have to do this. We have to do this together. And as the old adage said, it takes a village to raise a child. We need each individual to play its part. So it's not trying to isolate based on somebody's hurt. It's easy to manipulate somebody when they're in a hurt state. Right. Say, hey, come on over here, because these guys, they don't have no compassion. But deep down inside, some of them women probably can name 2 or 3 guys that had compassion, showed them love, empathy, and everything. Yep. They need to wake up and realize, like, hey, hold on. My grandfather's like this. My uncle was like this. My big brother was like this, whatever. So all this stuff you talking, I can't buy into that. And if you find those individuals like that, then you should pump your brakes on the message. On another note, on the positive thing, it's good. You're doing a good thing. She does her research. She tries to challenge you. But I could tell you right now, for your undefeated streak, I don't think because you say you 3-0. Well, Herb didn't ever get a chance. And I was misled on my thing. And I think you, Ali, was, going toe-to-toe as best as you could as far as her giving you opportunity to speak. She did. I think your ass 0-0.
Right. Yeah, she didn't win with you. She didn't win with you either. You can't sabotage a fight. Yeah. Or if you want to say it's a fight, or you just trying to have a pure communication or discussion, and she sabotages it, and you didn't even go there to win anything. You went there to discuss something. She's doing it as competition.
Yeah, that's just like on here. Just talk about stuff. Go ahead, Herb.
The whole penis envy thing.
Yeah, penis envy. She got penis envy. She want to poke out her chest, and I can guarantee you, I don't know what time it's gonna be tomorrow, but guarantee you by 9:30, 10 o'clock, she gonna come out and she gonna break all of this down. Every one of us, I guarantee you. And them little minions, they gonna have something to say.
Yeah. If it's a true outlet, a true platform of information, it shouldn't go at trying to defame people or go at people's character that starts becoming your whole entire platform,
And the only reason why I focused on her because I still wanted to get these points across, because I thought it was legitimate points, and I said, come on, let's talk about it. But she thought we were going to gang up, and that's never been how this platform's been. Even I give you your props, Shaughnessy, whatever. You was on here with 3 guys and you was explaining your situation. Yep. But you held your own and never labored, never said, hey, wait a minute, whatever. Okay, you took it, and that's growth. Yep. That's growth, even though it's uncomfortable as it may be, but that's growth, and that just shows your maturity and your emotional intelligence. So shout out to you.
Definitely. Much respect to you. Much respect to you.
All right, good people. We out. Stay tuned. We know how it's going to go down. It's going to be a lot of shit in the counselor's corner tomorrow popping. But, hey, I'm here for it, and I appreciate Ali coming joining us, Herb, Shaughnessy. So we'll see y'all next time.
Y'all be safe, man.
All right, you too.
Everybody.
Pleasure.
All right, peace.
Yep.